this is crazy cause you came out of thin air. You must be magic, what you're doing, it ain't fair. You got that perfect timing, baby, and I swear our chemistry is glowing, made the whole world stare. Boy, you came out thin there, like you always been there, been there. Before you, I didn't care. Came out of thin there, you came out of thin there. I want gold with your love. I won't ever give you up. Pull me in closer. Not scared to admit I want your touch. Your voice is a symphony, singing sweet melodies. Pull me in closer. 'Cause when the world's over, you got me. Don't stop taking all of my time, make it all yours. Keep on, 'cause my heart likes to rush. So please give me more. Boy, this is crazy 'cause you came out of thin air. You must be magic, what you're doing, it ain't fair. You got that perfect timing, baby, and I swear our chemistry is glowing, made the whole world stare.
I wish it was Christmas, Christmas every day. We could just let it snow forever and live on holiday. There would be presents every morning under every tree. Oh, Santa Claus, if I could have my way. I wish it was Christmas every day. School is out, no work today, so in my PJs I will stay, staring at this winter wonderland. Reindeer slippers on my feet, a Christmas vacation on TV. I feel like I am just a kid again. I can see the Christmas lights appear. Welcome to the best time of the year. I wish it was Christmas, Christmas every day. We could just let it snow forever and live on holiday. There would be presents every morning under every tree. Oh, Santa Claus, if I could have my way. I wish it was Christmas every day. Kissing under mistletoe, 52 weeks in a row. Now you got me shouting out with glee. No more wars and no more fights. Peace on earth comes every night. What a wonderful world this could be. I can see the Christmas lights appear. Welcome to the best time of the year. Yeah! I wish it was Christmas, Christmas every
Now we have reached the end, but I'm alright. I don't have to wonder why. Oh, I won't cry. 'Cause baby, now I realize I'm gonna love me the way I loved you, deserving more than you ever did. I'm gonna love me the way I loved you. Tonight I'm dancing you out my head. Tonight I'm dancing you out my head. Waste.
The sun in the cold, we all die, shining light,
Woo! I can get on board with that crowd. Back for another day of the ASL. Artosis and Rapid here. And we are quickly approaching the end of the round of 24.
We are absolutely, and that means that the best of the best are coming out to play. We got a chance to see Flash play yesterday, and tonight we get a chance to witness Jadon's triumphant return to Brood War. And
Hopefully
it's-
triumphant return.
Right, very hopefully. Did have a little bit of difficulties when he was playing at that KT Giga Legends show match, but that was a show match. This is the ASL Season 2, so certainly a much bigger stage, a lot more on the line, and really time to show up and show what he has to show.
Well, if a Zerg can make it through to the round of 16, it's Jadon. All right. If not, I guess we got to patch this game that has been patched
We have
since
to,
like
like,
year 2000.
Yeah, return David Kim and say, hey, we have this other project we want you to work on. Kind of
Yeah.
need to get some Zergs through. But I mean, if there is any Zerg that can make it through, it's certainly Jadon.
Yeah, the greatest Zerg of all time. A couple kind of amateurish players in this group as well. And then, of course, one of the 6 dragons in best. Just a monster of Protoss macro. Probably the best macro player ever for Protoss.
Oh my God! Well, very high praise coming in through from Best, and certainly, at least I remember when the dragons are kind of being formed back in the day. You were talking about each one of them kind of having their own individual kind of superpowers or play styles.
Yeah.
We already got a chance to see dragons rise and fall. Bisu making it through. Of course, not everyone quite so lucky. Free not making it out.
That's true, but Stork did make it. So far, 2 out of 3 dragons. The last does play tonight. Can Best make it? I tell you what, looking at this group, like, I would be surprised if Jadong and Best don't make it out. I know that Mong is quite a strong Terran vs. Zerg player, but, like, guys, he's going up against Jadong. Like, let's be real here.
Well, that's right, and Mom just has no championship victories underneath his belt. He does have an amateur win, I believe, in one of the Sonic Star Leagues.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I mean, this is Jadong and Best we're talking about here.
Mong and Hakanim, also known as Hint, became pros after the golden days, like after StarCraft 2 was already out and established. So at a time where StarCraft 1 wasn't as competitive as it once was. So we'll see how they can hold up. Obviously, they're here in the ASL. They're quite strong players, but like Jadong and Best, this could be a finals of a Star League.
I mean, absolutely. I don't think it actually has been the finals, but I look at it and I'm like, well, no, that just makes total sense. And of course, we do have Group F coming up tomorrow, and of course, the group draw following that. So lots and lots of great StarCraft here to be played. Jaedong versus Mong, our first set. Of course, Best taking on Hakunim.
Yes, yes indeed. Best should be able to crush in that matchup. His PvP is quite stellar indeed. I always think of him as a Protoss versus Terran player, but that generally lends itself to being a great Protoss versus Protoss player as well. And Jaedong, to see him go up against Mong, I guess we get to see right off the bat exactly how strong he is in, you know, kind of the matchup that has made its name throughout StarCraft, Terran versus Zerg. You know, this is the classic matchup.
Yeah,
this is the Starship Troopers. Yeah,
exactly. And for Mong, I mean, we've been seeing Terrans kind of crush Zergs up until now. So
안녕하세요.
we'll have to see what Jaedong has to say as we head into our interview with today's players.
4명의 선수를 차례로 만나보겠습니다.
Let's do it. The
먼저
first interview,
e스포츠계
hopefully to Jaedong.
꽃미남이죠.
It is
이재동
Jaedong
선수
first.
만나보겠습니다.
Here he comes. Here he is.
안녕하세요, 이재동 선수. 현장에도 정말 많은 분들이 오셨고
He's
많은
actually real,
팬분들이
guys. I
이재동
promise.
선수에게 기대를 하고 계신 것 같아요. 경기 준비 잘 하셨나요?
A lot of your fans are here cheering for you today, and they expect you to go to the round of 16. How did you prepare for your match?
그냥 하면 될 것 같아요.
네, 자신감이
I think I played better
한마디였는데
offline
택백 리쌍 중에서 또 이제
and in big tournaments.
마지막으로 24강 경기에 출전을
So I'm
하게
just going to
됐어요.
do as I always do.
16강 진출 얼마나 자신
So you're going to
있으신가요?
be the greatest Zerg ever? Okay. How confident are you in advancing to the round of 16?
하던 대로 하면은
네.
올라갈 것 같아요.
좀 긴장하신
If I
건
just
아니죠?
do as I always do,
아니,
I
긴장을
feel I can
안 해서
advance in first place.
긴장하려고 노력하는
긴장을 너무 안 해가지고
I'm not nervous at all.
이번 시즌은 저그가 좀 유난히
I'm
힘들어하는 것
actually
같아요.
trying to be a little bit
몇 안
nervous.
남은 저그의
I've never even heard of anything like that
희망이시거든요.
before.
이제 또 끝으로
You are the hope of
시청자분들께
Zergs right
그리고
now.
100만 저그 팬분들께 각오 한 말씀
Any
부탁드립니다.
final comments to the Zerg fans and the viewers at home?
일단 뭐 익숙한 상황이기 때문에 올라갈 수 있도록 하겠습니다.
감사합니다.
I've been in this kind
선수였고요.
of situation a
그리고
lot.
이제 다음 선수
I feel like I can advance.
만나보겠습니다.
Wow,
이찬희
short and
선수.
sweet interview right there.
Just like Jaedong, short and sweet. So now we're going to be moving on to
안녕하세요,
Mong.
이찬희 선수.
Hear what he has to
지금
say
첫 경기
about facing
상대가
off against
이재동
Jaedong
선수예요.
in our
그래도 지피지기라고.
first set of the night. So,
지피지기.
so Mong, your
남을
first
알면은
opponent is Jaedong.
이길 수 있다 이런 말이 있잖아요. 지금 경기 준비 잘 해오셨죠?
So how did
네.
you prepare for this match?
지금
You said you have
긴장하셨나요?
well prepared.
긴장한 거보다 이제도
So why is your answer so short? Are you nervous?
여기서 말 길게 하면 맞을 것 같아요 밖에서.
So he says,
말을 함부로
I don't
못하겠다.
want to speak bad about
오늘 선수들이
Jaedong
유난히
because
좀
there are too
과묵하신
many
것 같아요.
fans here. So I don't want to get beat up by his fans.
2승 0패 아니면
네.
0승 2패예요.
그러니까 뭐 아니면 도.
그렇죠.
네. 그러니까 첫 번째 경기를 이겨야
So I think I'm going to
올라갈 수
win 2
있겠네요.
matches
네.
to
번째 경기
advance
이기면 제가 올라간다고
in first
생각하시면 돼요.
place.
네.
But if I lose the first match, I think I'm going to lose the second match and just go home early.
Either
지면
2-0 or 0-2. There's no middle ground for this man.
감사합니다. 오늘 경기장 오시기 전에도
I would say that's very
이찬희 선수
binary,
팬분들도
but the
굉장히
number 2
많은
doesn't
걸로
exist in
알거든요.
binary.
매니저들이 팬,
네.
예, 그 뭐 팬인데
네.
그래도 뭐 생각보다 많이 응원해 주셔가지고
네.
말은 이렇게
All right,
하지만
so there's
경기에서
still
약간
a
묵직한
few of my
모습
fans
보여주시고
here in
네,
the studio,
끝으로
and they did
이재동
cheer for me
선수에게 강한
before the
도발
start of the show. So I do want to do well
강한
for my fans.
안 강해도 상관없고요.
네?
안 강해도 상관없고.
So do you have any final
도발 한번
comments to
해주시죠.
your opponent?
좋아합니다, 제동이 형.
I like you, Jaedong.
감사합니다.
So nice, polite
갑작스런
answers there from
이찬희
Mong.
선수의
So
고백을
doesn't like Jaedong. Come
들어봤습니다.
on now.
그리고 이제 세
I was
번째
gonna say,
주자인
he
도재욱
was a
선수
little bit afraid of
만나보겠습니다.
his fans kind of
안녕하세요, 도재욱 선수.
All right,
네.
on to Best. The dragon himself. The crowd goes
나오고
wild.
있고. 오늘 컨디션
How does he
어떤가요?
fit those wings under the jacket?
How's your condition today? It's not bad. It's not perfect, but it's not bad.
자신감
I'm still
좋습니다.
confident.
지난번에 강탈하셨잖아요. 이번 시즌 각오가 좀
Last
남다를
season you
것
were knocked out
같은데
early.
어떠세요?
What's your goal
이번
for this season?
시즌에는 좀 더 8강 이상 올라갈 수 있도록 노력할 거고
네.
충분히
Like always, to
믿고
at
있어요.
least make
그러면
it to the round of 8.
목표가 8강밖에 안
And I
되는
know
건가요?
that I can do it this time around.
아니죠. 4강 이상 가야죠.
그러면 목표가 4강밖에 안 되는 건가요?
4강 밖에라니요. 전 세계 4등한 건데 4등이면 잘한
아,
거예요.
예.
네, 잘한 거예요.
감사합니다. 오늘
He's
잘하는
going to
또
change his
이재동
goal
선수와
to the semifinals
네.
instead.
이재동 선수를 생각한 어떤 공략 생각해 오셨나요?
And let's see
아니
what
그냥
happens
저는
after that.
제동님 올려 보내고 나머지 이기고 올라간단 마인드예요.
이재동 선수랑은 안 붙는다.
My goal is to send Jaedong
감사합니다.
as
카메라를
first
향해서
place,
자신감
and then
넘치는
follow
한마디
him.
부탁드립니다.
제가
Second
요즘에
place.
게임을 좀 많이 져가지고 놀리시는 분들도 많고 한데
I recently
그래도
lost a lot of
응원하시는 분들도 많기
matches, and I've been
때문에
teased by
저는
fans recently.
그분들 위해서 꼭 올라갈 거고
But I know I have more
열심히
fans.
해서 오늘 진출하도록 하겠습니다.
So I'm going to do my best to advance forward for the fans that
그리고
always
이제
cheer for me.
마지막으로 김규혜 선수 만나보겠습니다. 안녕하세요, 김규혜 선수.
How to
김규혜 선수 좀
Alright, so
무대 경험이
Hakunim,
많이
also known as
없으시잖아요.
Hint.
지금 좀 긴장한 것 같아요.
So you don't really
어떠세요?
have that much experience playing on this kind of stage, so you must be very nervous coming into today's games. He says, yeah, I'm a little bit new to this environment,
경기
so
준비는
yeah, I'm a little
하셨나요?
nervous.
제가 선수들 이제 연습량이 이제 부족해서 일을 하다 보니까
네.
이제 연습량보단 선수들 VOD랑 리플레이.
So I'm not a full-time gamer. I actually do work for a living,
네.
so I didn't have a lot of time to practice coming into these games. So I just try to find the weakness of my opponent
이 선수는 절대 못 이기겠다 하는 선수가 있을까요?
and try to focus on
지금
that.
조에선 못 이길 선수는 없는데
다 이길 수 있다.
이 선수만은 꼭.
So I think I have a good chance against every player in my
그런 건
group.
없고
네.
꼭 이겨야 됐다고.
That's what I like to call optimism, Artosis.
꼭 이겨야 되겠다는 몽군
제가 아마
선수.
But I think I have the best chance against Mong, so
네.
definitely going to have to defeat him to give myself a chance in the group.
몽군 선수를 약간 겨냥해서 연습을 하신 거네요, 그러면은.
아니요, 저는
네.
BJ랑.
I have the best win rate
네.
against Terran,
테란밖에 없었어요.
so I practice most of my
슬프네요.
matches playing against Terrans.
슬픕니다. 그리고
So
이제
I
끝으로
feel
김규혜
confident
선수를
against
모르시는
Mong if I get to play
시청자분들이
against
계실
him.
것 같아요.
네.
자기 소개 한번 부탁드립니다.
네, 안녕하세요. 전 준프로 게이머 김규혜라고 합니다.
Hi, so can you
제가 지금
introduce
아마추어가
yourself
세 명이
to
올라왔는데
the
그 아마추어
people who don't know
중에서는
you?
가장
So he says,
잘한다고
hello, I'm the
자부할
ex-pro
수 있고요.
gamer Hakunim,
준비한 것도
one of the
많고,
amateur players who
이재동 선수
advanced to this
빼고는
tournament.
다 평소에
Confident that I am the
이겨봤던
best amateur
선수들이랑
tournament
긴장만
here in the
안
tournament
하면
right now.
네, 감사합니다, 김규혜 선수.
I actually defeated
김규혜
every
선수까지
player in my
만나봤고요.
group when I was a
KT와
pro
함께하는
gamer.
ASL
So
시즌 2
hopefully you can do that tonight.
2조에서는
And
누가
we'll see. That's going to do it for our MVP interviews. Some very strong words there, especially Best saying that, you know, maybe he's not quite going to get out in first place, but, you know, credit where
Well,
credit's due.
okay, look, it's not that his PVZ is bad, but someone like Jaedong should be able to dismantle him a little bit. He actually got to 1 finals ever, and I remember it pretty well. It was against July Zerg, and July Zerg was one of these amazing champions that had like 3 distinct periods where he became a champion. So he was like he's one of the only people that's ever done that. It's an amazing thing that maybe we can talk about another time. But like, he got inside of Best's brain, and it's like he had like iron-toed shoes on and was like stomping around, and like you've never seen a Zerg player so thoroughly psychologically dismantle a Protoss player as that finals of OSL. So.
Yeah, Best went home and looked under his bed that night. J-Dog's there. He's like, well, ow! Inside the closet. He's the bump in the night, but we'll find out how he's able to face off against his first opponent, Mong, here. So this is always my favorite part. J-Dog returning to Brood War, and of course a longer list that unfortunately does not keep scrolling down because there's plenty to put in there.
Just enjoy the song for a moment. This is the actual song for one of the epic OSLs. Oh my God! He probably won this OSL. I don't remember. I can see the video in my head right now. Like kids are like skateboarding and stuff. And, like,
I guess we're just gonna kind of jam out when we talk about how awesome J-Dog is.
I can't talk over this. This is like giving me some sick flashbacks right now. This is beautiful.
You know how many career wins J-Dog has versus every matchup, Artosis? 420.
Wow. That's a lot.
Of wins.
That's a lot of wins, right?
Certainly a very high number.
Yes, indeed. Well, okay, so that was pretty cool.
That's our
I don't
brief
care.
anecdote. We do belong together, J-Dong. I just made a heart symbol with my hands. But now we're going to move on to Mong, his opponent. Of course, not quite as much of a pedigree, but still, you know, a player that does have, I guess, maybe the third most experience here.
Yeah, I guess so. That's a good way to put it. He's a strong player, and he seems quite confident tonight overall. So, I don't know, maybe he can do it. Like, J-Dong, I don't think is in complete peak form. He's very good right now, but He hasn't been back as long as a lot of the other pros, so that could be a little bit detrimental to him.
Absolutely, and for Mong, at least going back and watching a lot of the TVZs that we've seen already so far this tournament, it certainly seems like if you do play that slow and steady Terran style, you're going to be in a pretty good spot versus most of the Zergs, which we've seen play in this tournament.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, this is. I really am kind of sitting here like, I hope Jaedong wins. I want Jaedong to win. It's important for the tournament for a Zerg player to get into the next round, right?
The first Zerg player.
Yeah, I don't want to like completely count out Mong though, because I mean, this is a new Terran guy. He's young. He's upcoming. Like obviously, this is going to be tough for him though. Jaedong, like just playing against Jaedong, you get like -5 to all your stats or something like that, just because of his name value, right?
If I don't cast very well tonight, it's just because I'm in the same room as Jaedong. He's sapping my power to fuel the spirit bomb that he's going to need to take tonight's game. So, hope you guys are excited. Get out there, tell your friends, Jaedong is back. You can even tag him at SC Jaedong because he's coming back to his roots here in StarCraft Brood War. Of course, he's facing off against a guy named Mong. So, get ready. It's our first game of the night. It's the Dong versus the Mong in tonight's ASL Season 2.
All right.
Oh my
The Dong
God.
returns to pro gaming.
He is here, and he is going to be spawning as the Teal Zerg in the upper right-hand corner of Benzene.
It is, of course, Jaedong. Originally, well, we'll talk about this guy first. Mong in the bottom left, the orange Terran. But Jaedong, originally when he started popping out and killing legends, he actually became known as the Legend Killer. You know, unfortunately for that nickname, he became a legend himself, and thus gained the nickname the Tyrant, as he well should have. That is a very fitting one for him overall.
Yeah.
And I do want to mention something, because like a lot of the time, like it's kind of perceived that Flash is the greatest and Jaedong's like the second greatest.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like kind of sad in a lot of ways. And I do want to mention something, like both of them were extremely good at StarCraft 2, like really, really top-end pros. But not like super champions like they were in StarCraft 1, and there's a lot of reasons behind that we can get into another time. And look, I know that just bringing up StarCraft 2 is going to make the
That's
10...
all you talk about, Artarsa.
It's going to make the 10 fake Brood War elitists on the Team Liquid forums that love to hate, like bring this up. Oh, you should always judge it. Anyways, Jaedong played StarCraft 2 professionally for quite a long time. And got second in a ton of tournaments. It was like kind of one of these stork scenarios where it's like second place, second place, second place, second place. And it had to be something mental in him, because it's not as if every time he just hit someone better than him in the finals. So, you know, it becomes something mental after a certain number of second places. But if he had won those tournaments, I honestly think we would be calling him the greatest gamer of all time and not Flash.
It's just so many close steps away from that, and actually, kind of seeing him return here. I mean, this is an industry, an esport in which he's already really well established himself. So to come back, I don't know if he's still necessarily like still chasing that best gamer of all time kind of title, but could definitely do it if he does succeed.
Yeah, I mean, look, we don't know exactly how long these careers are going to last. I think that StarCraft 1 has a very good chance of being around a long time, especially if the top 4 guys don't all go to the Army at the same time. I think that would be detrimental to the game, but other than that, I think that we got a good thing going on here again, and you never know, man. Maybe Jaedong really hits his stride now, years and years after he retired from StarCraft 1. I mean, I guess we'll see, but looking at these opening builds, we do have a very quick 3 hatcheries here from Jaedong. Nothing too crazy about that. I would expect him to go into Mutalisk play here. We did see a lot of Hydras yesterday and quick Lurker builds, and I think that a lot of that has to do with people being afraid of Flash. But Jaedong is like basically the greatest micro, the most decisive, the greatest mechanics, the smartest Zerg of all time, so it would be a little bit surprising to me if he did not go Mutas here against Mong.
Yeah, really the overmind in a lot of different ways, able to control everything pretty immaculately. So got to keep an eye on exactly what what way he chooses to channel that. We got a chance to see, I think it was Terror yesterday, who went Spire really immediately, but didn't actually build any Mutalisk or really any Scourge. Of course, that was I think a versus Protoss build. But either way, when it comes into this build, I just want to see what Jaedong's sort of a take on this matchup is, because every other Zerg in ASL has been unsuccessful.
Yeah. And the thing is, a lot of them put up some really fantastic games too. Like, I mean, Effort just,
games, like, oh my god,
he really played so well. And Sulky, to be honest, played fantastic. Movie just barely got that. Another fantastic. Guys, if you didn't see Sulky versus Movie from last night, definitely worth your time. But it's Jaedong here, so I'm totally feeling him getting out, but let's see. Like, right now, Mong is doing a fantastic build. He's scouted this all properly. He's seen that it's 3 hatcheries. He's gone off of 1 barracks directly into the eBay, directly into the academy. This is something we've been talking about a lot. This is kind of like a basic thing that you want to do after the command center first, and you've scouted how slow the opener is for Jaedong. Like, he can't get aggressive. What's he going to do, make a bunch of speedlings versus the wall in? Like, no. I mean, get your upgrades, get it going. But Jaedong.
Oh, my goodness. So,
yeah, the Hydralisk Den.
Not going to be having a Spire come out. It's just going to be Hydras to start. Now, do you think this is going to be for the range pressure on the front wall in on the natural? Okay.
Well, definitely, like, if you go for quick lurkers, you're going to try to run around and, like, catch pieces of army, right?
Okay.
And that, like, if you get it into a good position, and they're showing right here, like, if you get lurkers up there, if you can get over to that side of the map, you can definitely siege up Terran and make a very uncomfortable position for them. The thing is, will Mong actually allow that to occur now that you've seen this Hydralisk Den so early on?
All right, so that will be enough information for Mong to at least know, hey, that's a possibility. Now, you can't actually just walk up there to that high ground. I believe you do have to kill off the power extractors in order to get up there.
What you can do is walk
a little bit higher up.
Yeah, the power extractors are a little bit like further down, I guess you can say. So you can get your lurkers kind of up there. They can be hitting the depots, force the barracks to relocate, and hit the edge mineral patches.
Okay.
And the way that SCVs work in this one, you can't like perfectly pair like in StarCraft 2. So if you're hitting the edge patches, you're going to cut them down to like 5 SCVs mining maximum, maybe even just 4. So that's like, that could be a very powerful thing. But notice these fire bats. This is a very important thing that Mong is doing here, because it's going to be lings that screw him up. Like, lurkers themselves can't chase down an army. You need lings to come around to kind of flank it, to make sure that the army can't move so that lurkers can actually burrow and then get the hits off. But the fire bats, they have that extra health, they have that extra armor, and they have that splash damage against the Zerglings. So that will really screw up any Zergling flanks as long as he keeps them positioned well.
Sniping off the SCVs, it does try to extend out onto the map and get scouting information. No, not going to be possible. A couple of Overlords, you can see the observers highlighting pretty significantly. What do you think those are for out in the middle of the map?
The Overlords?
Right.
Yeah, they're just there for scouting purposes mostly, like just checking if anything goes up there. You know, you have all these extra Overlords. You definitely can move them around. And he doesn't even have to really pool them anywhere because he's not going for Mutalisks here. So he doesn't really need like a group of them to be able to micro with that's in a corner of the map.
All right, now moving these lurkers around the map. Has the bird over there. Artosis.
This could be some hold position lurkers coming up. Of course, this could just be for when the bio runs away from the lurkers. Very clever, tricky move here from Jaedong, a master of tactics of Zerg, of course.
Yeah, certainly, like you said, very, very intelligent, possibly the smartest Zerg player, and just really
truly
looking for an opportunity. Oh, there we go. The hold position lurkers unleashed. They unfortunately won't actually catch too much of the army because the force from Mong is actually pushing out, trying to get a good surround. Does pick off a nice fire bat.
Yeah, that was a nice like flank attempt there. Then Mong realized that he might be able to engage the Lings slightly, so he turned and stemmed. But overall, you know, that's just kind of went how it should have. Now, Jaedong is taking a third base. He is getting some upgrades as well. A big scan and split here from Mong. Very powerful move.
He's actually going to save the lurkers, pulling them back. Now, pinched up against the wall, they might actually go down, but wow, lurkers are so fast.
Yeah, they are.
It's like, is there a speed upgrade for lurkers, Artosis? No.
No, they're born that way. They're born with running shoes on. But Mong is playing very well. This is And this is part of like why I was a little bit surprised that Jaedong would go for this strategy. The fact that Mong scouted it, he's been out on the map, he's been present, and he hasn't let the lurkers get into position. Yeah, 2 of them kind of snuck around, but that isn't really enough. He needs to get more of his army over there, and Mong's pressure is keeping him from doing that.
Now there is a force back in the base to guard, just in case there's anything like a crazy drop or anything super, devastating as a counterattack. But at the same time, a big push up on the front. There's only one sunk in there. Jaedong's army on the other side of the map is actually looking as they go for a doom drop, and there it is, exactly what I was talking about. But missile turrets and Marines ready and waiting.
That's all right though, because a couple lurkers going to be dropped behind this mineral line. Let's see if Mong reacts quickly here. Jaedong hits the front a little bit, trying to get him out of position. Look at this, the drop coming back as Mong goes to deal with the lurkers behind his mineral line.
Is going to lose a few of those overlords, and with the detection there from the turret, this will actually get cleaned up pretty well. Some bio going down there, but okay, well, Lurker, where are you going?
He's getting out of there, seeing if he can maybe run around. Don't forget, Mong is all over the place, but he sees what's going on, so he's not going to allow this Lurker to get too sneaky and kill off a bunch of SCVs. Bam, gets taken down. Good move right there, but not mining from the natural.
That's a good old scouting Lurker, and here we see Jaedong trying to get forward. Huge Lurker spines destroy Mong's army.
Look, Mong is playing very well. The way that Jaedong is staying in this is by abusing Mong's attention. He's hitting multiple locations at different times. He just caught Mong not looking at that army, cleared up a bunch of it, and now he has map control once again, as simple as that.
And Mong can't mine from his natural. Those 2 lurkers perfectly positioned, and he's had to pull his entire SCVs. He doesn't have a third base, so this is really just destroying his economy. When you can't keep producing those bio balls, there's just going to be too much Zerg out on the map.
It's really tough for him right now, but he does have some vultures, so some spider mines can go down. He can maybe run around, try to get some harassment done. And look at this. This is so annoying to have these lurkers up here. Jaedong abusing this map beautifully.
Yeah, I think what Jaedong did is he moved one of the lurkers underneath the overlord, so it's not immediately with the other lurker that's up there. Either that or it got killed off. I didn't actually get a chance to see that.
Yeah,
there we go. Lurkers moving forward, throwing right in front of the bunkers. Scan will go down, and immediately Jaedong pulls back.
Yeah, that was a little bit questionable, because even if he got a volley off before the scan, probably all those lurkers are going to be pushed back and at least getting very, very low health. So a little bit of a risky move there. In the meantime, some vultures do go down to that third base to see what they can get done. A sunken will push them back slightly, though.
Oh my god. All right. I love how I was talking about how, how many struggles Mong has, and you're like, but he does have vultures. That's very, very true. Those things can be incredible.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my
He's
god.
going to get right on top of the drop shit, take it out, even investing the Scourge there. Jaedong, perfect senses. Sniff it out and take off the drop before it does any damage.
Look at this switch into mutas. This is some really cool stuff coming out of Jaedong right now. Of course, his mutalist play is so fantastic, and the fact that Mong is kind of like getting into those vultures, that's the first signal that Terran wants to start switching into mech. But with the mutas out, I don't think that's what we're going to see right now. He's going to have to kind of stay on these Marine medic for a little bit longer.
Finally, those high ground lurkers being taken out, and that will mean that Mong can resume mining from his natural. So trying to claw back into everything. But in the meantime, I mean, Jaedong's already gotten out there taking a 4th base.
Look what he's doing again. Wait, does he have any?
No,
is he dropping there? No?
Yeah, he does have 1 lurker. Oh, no, 2. Okay, wow.
Yeah, this is so hilariously annoying, and it seems so simple that he's just like, okay, now I'll do that again. But the fact that Mong cleaned that up by scanning and flanking with Marines, and now he has to deal with these mutas, this is strategically such a beautiful move by Jaedong to send those lurkers back in there.
He's actually, I think, maybe going to lose 1 mutalist. No, actually does not. So taking out the perimeter turrets, diving deep to maybe try to pick off a few more, and this Bioforce out on the map just looks so small in comparison.
Yeah, well, the muta's flying around, keeping some map control right now. Of course, Mong has a strong group of Marine medic in the middle, but the map is kind of a big, dark place for him right now. It's hard for him to really get around and do anything with such a mobile force for Jaedong, and the fact that he knows that there's lurkers all over the place.
There certainly are. A few of those could be those hold position lurkers like we talked about earlier. Got a chance to see those. Didn't really accomplish all that much, but I think MVPs for this game have to be those 2 high ground lurkers. That spot is just so incredibly difficult to remove things from and able to deny mining for so long this game.
Well, some siege tanks coming out. This is going to be a more cost-efficient way to deal with these lurkers, but one siege tank, you're going to have to scan multiple times to take that out. So, and if Jaedong's really on top of it, you can even pick up into that Overlord. But Muta's coming over, going to clear out these vultures, not really able to get too much done.
They weren't able to kill the Queen's Nest, and he even kills off the siege tank with a lurker. Okay, well, finally there's a science vessel out. At least that will make it so he doesn't have to scan to kill those high ground lurkers.
Yeah, but look, his economy is... He's so broke right now.
Right.
Just he's barely been able to even mine from over here. He lost a siege tank that he was using to clear the lurkers, and the thing is, like, you can tell that Mong mentally is falling apart because he scanned and attack moved a siege tank. Like, you know, as a Terran pro, that one scan and a siege tank, the scan's going to run out, he's going to run over the lurkers, he's going to die. And the fact that he lost that siege tank doing it, like, that's just like, that shows that something mentally with him is a bit off right now.
All right, and you were actually talking about how a guy we'll get to see a little bit later on when he played against Jaedong, just kind of, or not
against
Jelizerg, just kind of got into his head, and you can kind of see that starting to happen here. I mean, it's not just about the play. Sometimes it's about the player, and you can see Jaedong, the cutest Muta Micro, sniping off tanks and even just not afraid of dealing with this big bio ball.
Gonna pick off both the siege tanks. Oh my God! Just
even a drop
Are you kidding me?
Icing on the cake. When I went and got coffee earlier, Artosis, they asked me if I wanted whipped cream on top.
You said no. I'm watching Jaedong later.
I was say, man, he's got whipped cream, cherry, sprinkles. Got some of those peanuts. Mm-hmm. Gotta be careful if you have nut allergies.
the game started out pretty good for Mong. Like, he was really on top of everything, but Jaedong is killing. Look at it. We don't even see medics in this Marine Forest right now. So, yeah, it's kind of scary. It just erases those lurkers. Okay, he does, thank God, have some medics. I was going to say, like, if you have no medics to that group of Marines, you can't even really stim again. Come on, Mong, get this together. But he does have some here. The thing is, what does he do with just Marines?
Oh, and picking off even science vessels. A nice D-Matrix on the Marine to draw the lurker fire. And they're not being, oh, there they are, getting retargeted.
Yeah.
It's a nice break here, killing off a few of those lurkers. But look at how much lurk there is coming in from behind.
Oh, my God. He even gets the science vessel with the Scourge flank. The Muta's coming up as well. Everything getting destroyed. And Jaedong showing his dominance here against Mong, who continues to sit on just 2 bases.
That just like, it looks like a single-player cinematic where Terran bases are just getting overrun by the swarm. Jaedong now turning his sights across the map, going to go for this big bioforce in the middle. Maybe a little bit optimistic to call it that size because it just doesn't exist anymore. Jaedong streaming Zerg across the map and nothing really standing in his way.
All right. Mong trying to break out right now. Does have a science vessel up in front there. Uses an irradiate actually on a lurker.
Doesn't even kill it.
Yeah, well, it will eventually pop, but I mean, this... Well, I guess what is Mong supposed to do from here? It's so brutal, the fact that he is still sitting on such a small economy. He doesn't even mind that much for how long the game is. And now he's completely contained.
Yeah, Jaedong, meanwhile, moving up to at least 4 bases right now. The 4th just now coming up. And I mean, just completely, allowed to do pretty much whatever he wants at this point. So, I don't know. I mean, this is just so beautiful to watch in so many different ways. And Mong just contained within his base. Muta's flying everywhere, just picking up every little thing. Surprised he doesn't put more lurkers up there on the high ground just to kind of add insult to injury. I mean, that base will actually be able to be mined from for quite a while. I'll try to pick off a Defiler maybe. Will it go down? Nope, those things do not.
Killing a Defiler with Vultures, yeah, okay. Yeah, that might happen. Defiler makes it right out of there. And
so good, and even scanning to see the lurkers there. As soon as he sees it, GG, Jaedong taking game number 1 versus Mong.
Huge crowd. People continue to filter in to watch Jaedong here tonight. And you know what? Mong, he opened up playing very well, but over time, Jaedong just kind of picked at his attention. You know, attention is one of the biggest resources in StarCraft. It's really hard in StarCraft 1 to control everything straight up to macro at the same time, because you have the maximum of the 12 units in a hotkey. You have to click on every building individually to macro, and then you have things like these lurker drops occurring. He's like flying in with the Doom drop, gets pushed away, drops the lurkers. The army moves towards the lurkers, comes in the Doom drop again. Look, and here's the thing, that Doom drop didn't even really do that well, but over time, Mong couldn't keep up with everything that Jaedong was doing to him.
Right, just too much fatigue, and in the end, you can just see, maybe not, how on top of his game Jaedong is right now, but just the pedigree to be able to be totally comfortable, multitasking, microing, just tearing his opponents apart. So,
yeah.
Just really impressive to watch it in
And
in
here's the
action.
thing, too, like, Jaedong did not look like full form Jaedong. Like, it's like Dragon Ball Z before they became Super Saiyans is what that looked like to me, being a long-time Jaedong watcher. Like, he's going to be a lot better than that by the end of the season. So I feel like he's warming up, and we haven't seen final. Like Cell has how many stages, right?
Yeah, this is like watching like Dragon Ball Jaedong when you actually think that Krillin's like actually pretty good. We're gonna take a 5-minute break while I look for some better references. We'll be right back with our second game in tonight's ASL.
이건 영화 속 이야기도 누군가의 막연한 상상도 아니야. 누구도 기가를 본 적은 없지만 이미 기가 속에서 살아가고 있어. 이곳의 사람들은 감염병을 두려워하지 않아. 빅데이터로 병이 퍼지는 걸 막아주니까. 재난에 절망하는 사람도 없어. 어떤 상황에도 안전통신망이 세상과 연결해주니까. 에너지를 걱정하는 일도 없지. 복합 에너지 운영 시스템이 알아서 관리해주거든. 이것이 KT 네트워크의 힘. 미래는 기가로 이미 시작된 거야. KT.
그들은 실제로 존재한다. 우리들 주변 곳곳에. 우리는 그들을 리터너즈라 부른다. 리터너즈.
이거 효과가 진짜 예뻐. 이건 동영상으로 찍어야 돼. 짱 귀여워. 아 이거 조명 없어도 예쁘게 나와요. 이거 스노우웹 진짜 대박이야. 아 텍스트도 쓸 수 있네. 아 이렇게 쓸 수 있구나. 단체로 이렇게 고양이가 그려져. 이렇게. 저것도 같이 와! 땡기지 마!
댄시도와의 결선 무대를 시작하겠습니다.
그런 의미를 담은 그 댄스 퍼포먼스,
이 무대를 마음껏 즐기시는 모습을
계속 춤추셨으면 좋겠어요. 꼭. 네.
1등은요 축하합니다. 2XC
축하드립니다.
와우.
여러분들 스노우 앱입니다. 스노우 앱. 와, 개똑같아. 야, 뭐야? 야, 김준영 존나 똑같아. 야, 김보선 해봐. 인지가 여기 한번 하지. 와, 진짜 오답이다. 하지마. 시청자를 항상 신으로 생각하고 그래야지. 자, 이렇게 혼자 놀기에도 좋습니다. 와! 와 근데 이게 다 공짜입니다. 역시 스노우웹 또 메신저도 보낼 수 있고 스노우웹 진짜 개 꿀잼입니다 여러분들.
네.
자 많은 사랑 부탁드립니다. 지금도 밑에 내리고 있는데 계속 나와.
세상이 미래를 상상할 때 우린 미래를 만들고 있어. 우린 자동차와 도로를 연결해 차들이 스스로 움직이는 길을 만들지. 빅데이터로 금융의 패러다임을 바꿔 은행을 찾아다닐 필요도 없어. 그래, 미래는 멀리 있지 않아. 우린 글로벌 기업들과 힘을 합쳐 5G의 세계적인 기준을 만들고 있고 누구보다 먼저 평창에서 5G 세상을 만나게 해줄 거야. 이것이 KT 네트워크의 힘. 미래는 기가로 이미 시작된 거야. KT.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the ASL. I am Goku alongside Yamcha, and this is an amazing night. Jaedong himself destroying.
Handsomer anyway, so
yes,
well
yes.
played.
I did that on purpose. I'm going to give you a big scar after the cast. It'll be great.
Hopefully I don't get any scars from watching these games because they are going to be so sick. We're going to have, like you said, the best macro Protoss ever to play the game best here in the ASL studios, ready to go. And you can see there his by far best matchup going to be versus Protoss. So hopefully a matchup we get to see him excel in.
His Protoss versus Protoss is very, very strong. I would expect him to be able to take this down, especially considering this guy's going up against is even more amateur than Mong. And here's the other part too, like when you play against like a legendary godly player, that name value does something to you. Like playing against a Jaedong, playing against a Flash, a Bisu, a Stork. And I would say, especially in a situation like this, like there is no doubt in the world that this guy watched countless best games, has tried to emulate him, has tried to steal the builds, has tried to macro like him. So like this is someone that, for instance, he has studied a lot and looks up to as a Protoss player. There's no way you wouldn't, because you want to be good at macro, right? So I feel like the pressure of the stage that he's never really had to do, and the fact that he's up against a player of his race that's very good at the matchup, he knows is very good, that he's studied, like all these things, there's a lot of pressure on this poor guy.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's a good saying that, you know, what the next best thing comes from a place you don't know. And so maybe that's what we're starting to see here, a new up-and-coming player, a little bit untested, but can just come out, show his best game. And, I mean, Best did say he's going to let Jaedong make it out first, so he's got some wiggle room in there.
All right, well, doesn't want to think too highly of himself, I guess, but here we go, guys. It is a PvP, Best versus Hakanim, coming up. Tell your friends, because ASL is here, and StarCraft 1 is great, and it's amazing, and I mean, like, if you don't have friends, like, you have someone you want to be a friend with, just tell them this is on. You'll probably be friends.
Yeah, or just watch us. We'll be your best friends. We get into our second game of the night. It's going to be Best versus Hakanim here in tonight's ASL.
Cause I've had enough.
Okay. Down here in the bottom left, the purple Protoss. It is Best.
We'll see if he can, I guess, join Zest in being that as well. He's going to be playing off against a Protoss of a different color. This is the teal player, Hakanim. also known as Hint, coming out with I think this is one of his first offline kind of debuts. He said he's kind of a regular guy. You know, he has a job, he does other things with his life. But oh, by the way, he's actually just so good at StarCraft. I mean, I think over 750 players tried to qualify for ASL, and he made it through. So that already tells you he's got what it takes.
Yeah, he's clearly a very strong player, and I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing what he has here. I haven't seen any of his games, so should be fun. But best, I mean, this guy has been back from the military for a little bit now, so definitely should be in some top form here today, ready for this ASL.
I feel like players who have already gone and done their mandatory military service have that, you know, that assurance that eventually all of these other like super great players that have not actually gone to the military will have to go, and then you know, that's their time to strike. Well, this is actually a time, a very special time, not only in our lives because we get to watch this you know, tournament, but also where all of the legends are still out there, still playing and playing in this tournament. So you got, you know, newcomers like Hakanim playing against the old guys like Best who have already gone and come back. Now we get a chance to see whether or not he is going to make it a little bit further than he did last season, where he actually dropped out pretty early.
Yeah, you know, it's really such a cool resurgence. It really reminds me a lot of what's happened with Smash Melee. People are just like, okay, listen, this game is just too good. It's too awesome. There's too much story behind these legendary players. Let's just do this. Let's have this be an esport. And it's so super cool because you watch these tournaments and it's these legendary guys that have played forever that are killing it. And that's what we're going to see in StarCraft 1 as well. I mean, some people I'm sure are going to rise up in both games. But it's just, I don't know, there's something awesome about it. The only other game we really need this to happen to now is like Quake.
Oh my god.
I miss Quake a lot.
Somewhere out there,
game.
Slasher feels a disturbance in the force. Either way, let's go ahead and get back into a little bit of cheekiness there. Going to block off a few of those mineral patches from being able to be mined, or at least mined efficiently with a pylon in the line.
Yeah, super annoying to have to deal with that, delaying quite a bit of mining time. You know, he'll be able to kill it off eventually there, but manor pylons, God, they're annoying. And will not even do the cancel. You know, we see a lot of Protosses go for a Zealot or two Zealots early on, so they can remove this a little bit quicker. Still harassing with the probe, even against a Zealot there. It's so cool to see.
The most annoying unit in the game. I always like to just say that at least once, just in case someone out there forgets this is the reason why. But at least the pylon.
Wow, I like this Hakanim guy, man. You see that? What happened, guys, was he drilled his probe to the mineral patch on top of the pylon. He lined up his probe just right so it would go through the Zealot, and then he canceled the mining so his probe danced, and that screwed up the Zealot and made the Zealot dance for a moment. So the Zealot actually missed about 2 hits there. It's just like, you have this extra APM. This is something that you can do with it.
Yeah, I mean, as much as it looks fancy to spam out, you know, 400 ineffective APM, eventually you got to do something to it. Putting it to work early on. Hakanim just learning these little tricks to be as annoying as possible. And that's the kind of stuff, if you're an inexperienced player on the ladder, you see that happen to you and you're just like, whoa, what's going on? But Best will be very well prepared for all of that. He's seen basically everything a million times. And now he's actually going out to just make sure there's no shenanigans out on the map.
Well, this is really funny. He's running around with the Dragoon, but the probe is hiding in his base. So this is going to be a free scout, and this is such a powerful move here. If you can actually do something like discount DTs or discount Reaver, or say that you do see DTs or Reaver, anything like that, that is awesome because you stop people from scouting. As soon as the Dragoon is out, there should be no more scouting, but here he gets it. He sees double gateway, and now he's even going to see a Robo. Great scouting by Hakanim.
Yeah, it actually kind of uncharacteristic to lose track of the probe. I mean, you don't just forget that it's in your base. Like, you know it's there, but to not clear it out.
Yeah, well, this is part of why that pylon is a powerful move, too. You're doing so many things at once already early in the game, right? Every probe that you make, you have to send to the mineral patch to mine. You got to start thinking, okay, where are the proxy locations? Where are the locations on the map the probe might hide? And the thing is, like, whenever you run your probe away, you path it as if it's leaving the base, and then you turn it around when it's out of sight of buildings. So Best just kind of had a brain fart there and didn't check his main.
Oops. He did it, well, not again, but just once. We'll see if this, oh, okay, there's a cheeky little probe. What's going on up there? He's going to make a high ground pylon for extra warpins. Not quite. Well, he is going to complete his robotics. It is going to see that same on the other side. So what are we really looking for here? Because it does look like Best is at least going to be the aggressor.
Yeah, well, right now, Hakanim is going up. He's going to get an Observer, obviously, and that's going to keep his opponent's Observer out of there. He already knows that it's not going to be Dark Templars, or most likely not going to be. He could have canceled the Robo after killing the probe. That is a possibility. But the Observer is just going to kind of make him safe, and so that Best can't get free vision with his obs. But then he's going into Reaver. So what we have to watch is who makes a Nexus, when do they make it, and do they have shuttles? Okay, because if you do have the shuttle, like we saw before, it was like Free versus Rain. Yeah. And Free tried to take the expansion without the shuttle.
And you just lose.
Yeah, well, you can't dodge Reaver shots if you don't have a shuttle. Like the Reaver shot, it shoots out and then it tries to connect. So if you have a shuttle, you can just pick up your own Reaver, right? So Rain was able to bash through there. But it looks like both of them right now setting up for this Nexus pretty quickly.
Setting up for it. We'll see who does throw that down first. A decent defensive force on both sides. So I think I said earlier that Best was going to be aggressing. Nope, just staying back and trying to scout out what the other player is up to. It looks like there might be maybe one extra Dragoon for Best, but didn't exactly get a chance to scout everyone. And now just kind of observer hunting out on the map.
Oh, and he's just in range there to be able to hit it. If he gets it, that's a nice kill. Oh,
but he loses his
screws
own.
up. Dude, Hakanim is playing a good game right here, and Best with a couple.
I feel like he kind of
got crappy moves.
Yeah,
to be honest.
baited in there a little bit. Now Reavers are starting to pop out. We still need to wait for shuttles. There's no such thing as a slow Reaver push where you just walk it across the map to join your army.
Reavers are just so slow. They're like the slowest unit in the game, so you really don't want to try to walk those things anywhere other than to your natural. That's about as far as they ever wiggle themselves.
They're like permanent caterpillars. They just never evolve.
Yeah.
It's like you attach that Everstone to the Caterpie because you love it so much. That makes you a crappy trainer and or the star of the show. So either way, we're now going to see a little bit of turnabout being fair play with Observer Snipe from Best to even things up.
Well, this Caterpillar, though, gets picked up by shuttles, right? So that's like kind of, it's like it has its own.
Is the shuttle like its flying Pokeball?
It's something, I don't know what to call. Yeah, I guess so, because you have to release it for it to shoot, right? So that makes sense. Reaver, go!
Oh my god.
Scarab attack fails.
Yeah, Scarab attack just sucks half the time, but either way.
Scarab attack is super effective. Yeah, I win!
Yeah, it's like, but oh wait, it's not very effective. Right. You're just like, well, what did you really do?
Now, he actually has speed right now on this shuttle, so he is getting right inside of here, and, okay. That probe pull, he targeted, a probe that was not pulled.
Oh my god!
Holy crap!
Okay, little shaky there.
Oh my god! If he had killed that, this game would be completely different. But as is, like, first off, thank God he had speed. Obviously, he wouldn't have dived in that deep without speed. It was kind of a cool move. He even dropped a Za on the way so that any unit's attack moved up would take a long time to get into the main base. But Best pulled his probes. The Reaver did not target a probe that was in the middle of that stack, so it kind of worked out. And good defense by Best, I guess, is what we have to say.
Yeah, and every time a Reaver shot actually explodes, you kind of have to consider that a success. He does get a little bit of extra harassment. Thankfully saves that shuttle with 7 HP. Okay.
Ooh.
No way to repair that, so it's just going to be a little bit weaker. Always having to keep an eye on that. And it looks like the shuttle coming back for more action on the bottom half of the map.
Yeah, okay, he has actually double shuttle now, and I think that that's probably a smart move. You don't want to be flying around expensive Reavers in such a low health shuttle right there, but definitely could use it for some baiting moves. It looks like what he wants to do here, he's sending the shuttles and the Dragoons into different locations. So the 2 shuttles will force a huge chunk of army back to the main base, and what he hopes is that he has a bigger army at the front than what Best has left there. Thing is, I don't think that's going to be the case because the Reavers are just sitting on the ground. So Best should be safe here. He should be fine.
Here comes those shuttles, and he is flying them right over top of the Dragoons. There are 2 Reavers that do get out, but they're just going to get picked off. One going down, and oh my god, the Scarab hits are too good.
Yeah, those Scarabs dealing lots of damage. A lot of units coming back now, too. Now, look, this is the part. He knew he was going to force a lot of units back. Here they come, and now he's going to hit the front. But 2 Reavers sitting here immediately has to target that shuttle, but some Scarab hits are doing a pretty good job so far.
And he will be able to take out both of those Reavers, but at what cost? He lost about 5 Dragoons, 6 because of that push.
It was a great setup by Hackinem. He really, there was a lot of intelligence in the move that he just did, but Best dealt with it correctly. He first removed the shuttles, just like we saw Hackinem do. You have to do that or the Reavers live too long. And the thing is, if Best had left anything aside from the Reavers, like let's say the Reavers are in a shuttle, he brought those back to clear up, suddenly massive damage is done.
Targets everything correctly. A little bit of a sacrifice on both sides, both players losing their Reavers, so those counts are going to be low for now, but with plenty of gateways out and pumping, it'll be interesting to see what the next phase is for both players.
It looks like some upgrades will be the course of the day. We could see some Zealot legs. Those definitely can be useful. Obviously, Scarabs can wreck Zealots as well, but Psystorm is actually pretty good as well. But, oh, it looks like we need a pause here from Hackinem. Not sure exactly what that is. Could be just about anything.
Yeah, but rough on the pause timing too, just right in the middle of that game. Right as the engage happens, it's like, well, no, we actually have to take care of something.
Yeah. So, okay, we did see the Citadel coming up for Hackinem, I believe it was. And, the Psystorm can be pretty darn good in this matchup. Psystorm does a lot of damage. If you just lay it down on top of a Reaver, even if the shuttle comes in, the shuttle's going to take massive damage there. So that can have some play to it. You have to be careful, obviously, because a Scarab will kill a High Templar very, very quickly.
Right, and Dragoons are a little bit glitchy as they move together. They kind of stick against each other, so that can kind of form those StarCraft 2-esque balls that are great storm targets.
Yeah, they're covered with Velcro or something like that. You have to be very careful when you move around.
It's like playing a game of Katamari Damacy with only Dragoons. Artosis doesn't know what that game is, guys.
No, I don't. I'm like, is that a Sudoku? I don't know.
No, you play a little kitty cat on a ball and you roll it around. You pick up stuff around the town. You get the ball big enough. You get a high score.
Oh, I've heard of that game before.
Super fun.
Looks like we're back in the game, guys. It was just a sound issue for Hackinem. He probably accidentally hit the sound off or pulled a plug out or whatever. Happens all the time. That's the most common problem in all of StarCraft. Those sound issues. Okay.
Well, thankfully, it was rectified immediately by our A+ AfreecaTV staff. Big fans of those guys.
Hashtag big fans?
Definitely hashtag big fans. They're like the service station technician that keeps our vehicle of esports rolling.
Yes, all right. Notice that a cannon was going up right there in both mineral lines for Best. He knows that this is kind of like the moment in the game where neither player is going to kill each other. You can't fight into a choke with Dragoon Reaver against Dragoon Reaver. It's just not really going to work out very well. So, obviously you want to go into Templar Tech next. You're going to get legs for your Zealots so that they can close. It's so annoying to try to micro your Dragoons against those. And they're just huge meat shields and all that jazz. Obviously, Storm can be good, and DTs come out of the Templar Archives as well. Well, come out of the Gateway, but you know what I'm talking about.
But how could they be meat shields if they have no meat, Artosis? Actually, I guess they do. They're not totally psionic beings.
Yeah, no, they're real.
I was getting my Archons. So now we get a chance to see exactly how strong Reavers in shuttles can be. Because they just don't take these Scarab hits. I think he's actually trying to maybe even target down the pylon at the front. Whoa! A little bit too far forward. He's going to lose the shuttle. Now, big Scarab hits coming back onto him, but looking at the dive to the Reavers. He's going to try to pick up the shuttle, and he will.
Oh, my God.
Hackinem, microing like a god, will take out most of Best's forces.
Oh, man, I got to say, that from Best, Hackinem just went a little bit too far forward with the shuttle with Reavers. And when he got to pick that off, the Scarabs from Best were so well placed. He hit the Reavers immediately. Then he had two great shots on the Dragoon clumps, and he targeted certain Dragoons to get as much splash as he possibly. I'm getting chills. That was very well done there by Best.
Well, yeah. At the same time, Hackinem did get a decent, at least start to the fight.
Oh, absolutely,
kind of overextended a little bit. But now it's Best's turn to counterattack. He's got High Templar. He's got Dark Templar. They're both running across the map and trying to put this pressure back onto Hackinem, who's forced to retreat all the way back to his side.
All right, Hackinem running away. He has that third base up quicker than Best right now. I gotta say, I'm very impressed with Hackinem and how he's playing here. He's doing a good job. Definitely, living up to being in ASL. We've seen some guys that qualified that kind of, I think it's more of choking than they aren't bad players.
Well, Best last season went out very early, and we know that he's definitely got the potential. Now, this is the first game that we're going to get a chance to see him this season, so still having to judge a little bit of his, power level currently. about Hackney. Watching these games is like putting on your scouter, Artosis.
Yeah. Over 9,000
Not
rapid?
quite yet.
No.
Flash played yesterday. So
Yeah. That's over 90,000. Oh, come on.
I'm pretty sure at that point you're just like a sun.
You're stronger than that. You kidding me? Think that Goku can't blow up the sun? Come on.
I'm pretty sure that has actually happened a couple of times.
It probably has.
There's some arc where that happens. Who knows? Also takes about 5 episodes to explode, but
oh, at least.
Thankfully, we get, I forget how many episodes of ASL there are, but we actually play multiple games that begin and end every day, so maybe that's an improvement.
Well, this is episode 5 of season 2 so far, so there you have that. But
we're to call these
hopefully
by,
many more to go.
I'd love if we named like seasons of tournaments based on players. Like this is, the Flash Saga. But huge storms on all of those Zealots. Really good clumps. See how good these Reaver shots are as they are off to the back. Now it doesn't look like Haken's Reavers are getting off quite as much damage. Big storms though do really soften up those Zealots.
Yeah, very good storms on the right-hand side there by Best. And this Reaver micro is amazing. There's nothing that Hakenim did to deal with these Reavers. And between that and the Psy Storms, there's not much chance left for Hakenim in this game.
Oh my God, Artosis, it's magic, and you can see so much, just finesse there by Best. Microing the Reavers, great positioning and target firing by those Dragoons. His force, gigantic, and he will dominate across the map, and really just nothing standing in his way. GG, Hakenim. Strong performance, but in the end, Best is best.
Yes. Best is not Zest, Best is best. And he played very well there. There were a couple little sloppy things that happened, like leaving the probe in the main base and stuff like that. But he recovered from it all. Hakenim, I thought, played very well. There were some really cool moves he was doing. He was trying to use every little trick in the book that he could. You kind of saw what he was talking about, where he's like, okay, look, I have a job. I don't get to play full time. I'm trying to exploit my opponent's weaknesses. He did some clever things there with the speed shuttle and stuff. It didn't work out at the end of the day, but I really liked his play.
Well, we saw Best's win ratio almost 60% against Protoss, at least over his career, now coming in, really putting that to use. Really solid mechanics there, and in the end, that final fight, I think, really just indicates his pedigree.
Yeah, that was super well controlled. I love the two High Templars that are kind of coming in the front. He hit the Psy Storms at just the right time, especially like the last Psy Storm he casted. The Zealots had been pulled back, and he casted it at the millisecond that he knew that Hakenim had to move back in with the Zealots, so they took a ton of damage right there. Really well done. So that means chills. Jaedong against Best is coming up next after this commercial break.
이건 영화 속 이야기도 누군가의 막연한 상상도 아니야. 누구도 기가를 본 적은 없지만 이미 기가 속에서 살아가고 있어. 이곳의 사람들은 감염병을 두려워하지 않아. 빅데이터로 병이 퍼지는 걸 막아주니까. 재난에 절망하는 사람도 없어. 어떤 상황에도 안전통신망이 세상과 연결해주니까. 에너지를 걱정하는 일도 없지. 복합 에너지 운영 시스템이 알아서 관리해주거든. 이것이 KT 네트워크의 힘. 미래는 기가로 이미 시작된 거야. KT.
당신의 꿈은 무엇입니까? 레전드, 경쟁, 노력, 꿈! 여러분들 꿈을 만드셨으면 좋겠습니다. 그럼 KT 기가 인터넷 많은 사랑 부탁드립니다.
4년 동안 쉬지 않고 노력과 열정만으로 달동네를 벗어났어요, 정말로. 듣고 계시는 분들도 이렇게 많다라는 게 정말 믿기지가 않아요. 포기하는 순간 나날이 후회하면서 살게 되는 게 아닌가. 초심을 잡는 그런 날이 됐으면 좋겠습니다. KT요! 기가!
엉덩이를 들어봐.
이게 내 진심인 거야.
기가! KT요! KT와 아프리카 두개 만든 KT
KT가 레전드 매치 선수의 부활 선수를 못 기합니다. 대표이사의 완성 최고의 선수.
이런 멤버가 다시 모일 줄은 저도 생각 못했는데 클래스는 어디 가지 않는다는 걸 보여드리겠습니다.
오, 드디어 기다렸던 날이 왔습니다. 택배이상이 여기서 만났어요. 이게 이제 몇 년 만입니까? 시작! 치고 들어가는데요. 기드라의 땡이드라의 밀나요 체제. 기가 막히게 잡아내면서 이번 경기 승리를 만들어냈습니다. 2027년 만에 맞대결이고 결승전에 올라갈 선수는 누가 될지 기가급 속도로 오고 있어요. 기가급 속도로. 김태경 선수가 승을 따내고 대망의 결승전 대결. 전설 중에 전설은 누가 될 것인지 이재동 선수예요. 김태경 선수를 만나보겠습니다. 최고의 자리로 우뚝 설 수 있을 것인지 칠러 달립니까 이번에?
진짜 까다롭네요.
네요. 제제 우승격 프로토스 비수 김태경.
택배일상이 이렇게 모여가지고 다시 게임 할 수 있다는 것에 너무 감사드립니다.
너는 내 destiny 떠날 수 없어 난
KT 기가급 특급 매치 지금부터 시작하겠습니다. 오늘 4강 첫 번째 경기에서부터 시작됩니다. 어떤 경기 펼쳐지게 될지 여러분들 많은 기대 부탁을 드리도록 하겠습니다. 네, 자 연장전 마지막 경기입니다. 마지막 기회입니다. 한 번의 기회. 티켓스타즈가 승리를 가져갑니다. 결승전의 티켓은 단 한 장. 런어웨이 팀 대 아프리카 브릭스 레드. 자, 런어웨이가 역전.
런어웨이가
못 밟아요. 런어웨이 됩니다. 자, 이제 결승전 경기만을 남겨두고 있습니다. 자, 보여. 진영 무너졌어요. 자,
어디가 들어서
자, 우승태 BK 스타즈입니다.
직접 이런 부스에 서가지고 우승할 수 있게 돼가지고 정말 기쁘고요.
네, 오늘 정말 멋진 경기 보여준 BK 스타즈 여러분 다시 한번 뜨거운 박수 부탁드리도록 하겠습니다. KT업 기가 감사합니다.
세상이 미래를 상상할 때 우린 미래를 만들고 있어. 우린 자동차와 도로를 연결해 차들이 스스로 움직이는 길을 만들지. 빅데이터로 금융의 패러다임을 바꿔 은행을 찾아다닐 필요도 없어. 미래는 멀리 있지 않아. 우린 글로벌 기업들과 힘을 합쳐 5G의 세계적인 기준을 만들고 있고 누구보다 먼저 평창에서 5G 세상을 만나게 해줄 거야. 이것이 KT 네트워크의 힘. 미래는 기가로 이미 시작된 거야. KT.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Here we are. It is the winner match. Greatest serve of all time going up against one of the 6 dragons.
Jaedong versus Best, and certainly should be one of, if not the best match here tonight. Now, Best actually said in his interview earlier on that he was going to let Jaedong get out of the group in first place. And while humility is, a very admirable character trait, I just want to watch the nerds kill each other. So Jaedong certainly, looking right on top of his form. Best making a few little mistakes here and there, so both players with room for improvement, but also just room to dominate.
All right, yeah, this is like the way that Best played that one. He did look good in the PvP, but like there were a couple little hole type things, and Jaedong kind of had that a little bit too. Here's the thing, name value here I don't think really does that much between these two.
I mean, these guys have played against each other for years.
Yeah, and like Best was a top end guy that can get to finals and crush anyone in the world. So he's not going to be sitting here like, oh no, I'm playing my hero. No. He's playing one of his many rivals is what he's playing. So I think that they're both going to be able to show a lot of skills here today. And God, I hope we get a Zerg in that round of 16 Rapid.
Well, J-Dog's going to try to get us there as he faces off against Best. So let everyone out there in the world should know this should be the bat symbol on the sides of buildings. J-Dog versus Best is about to happen. It's 2016, but it feels just like Brood War has been here all along.
You know what? We need a big ASL symbol and a big GSL symbol thing, like shooters that we can hit the moon with.
Oh my god.
Just so when people look up into the sky, they're like, oh crap, StarCraft is on.
Well, here we go. J-Dog versus Best, our winners match, tonight's ASL Season 2.
Cause I've had enough.
Everybody can hear Lee J. Dong. That's what's being cheered. So many fans packing out the audience. Had to bring in extra chairs. So many people down here to cheer on some of the best pro gamers.
It's kind of crazy. Like yesterday was a little bit more packed than this. We have enough room that everyone can sit, but if like 10 more people come in, that's over. It's like we have limited amount of, well, I guess we actually have like infinity chairs here, but there's not enough room for all of them.
There's actually a new security line that they just put up so that you know, we are safe and sound in our little caster hidey hole back here. But let's actually talk about the players. There's the yellow Zerg player J-Dong in the lower left-hand side of Circuit Breakers. Over on the other side, that is going to be Best as the purple, or as the purple Protoss.
All right. Fans are, of course, hyped about this one.
Also great to see so many fans, not just from Korea, but international fans coming down. I got a chance to talk to a few of those earlier, and just awesome to see you know, one world of esports fans join together. We don't speak the same actual language, but we all speak the language of esports.
Yeah, it's I have a special place in my heart for StarCraft 1 non-Korean fans, because the scene was so small forever, really. It was just like basically TeamLiquid.net back in the day, and you know, it was definitely a limited amount of people watching it. To be fair, overall it was like pretty hardcore, and there was a decent amount because, I mean, there's a lot of people in the world outside of Korea, so, you know, but still.
But still, every time you see a person walk in here, they've got their cane, their walking machine, their like wheelchair. You know that guy played Brood War.
Absolutely. So, how many grandchildren do you have? Oh yeah, you've been playing since, you know, before replays.
Oh, Jimmy's a Zerg player. So yeah, going to be incorrect scouting directions here for both players, and looking to see what the builds are going to be like. Now, ZVZ was a matchup that was always very, like, you know, I guess kind of tenuous. You can't make like one too many drones, but at least PVZ, what we're starting to see here, starts out a little bit differently. My analysis there was that different matchups have different builds, Artosis, so I'm going to look for you to save me.
Yeah. No, I mean, pretty much. I mean,
oh my God, he's right.
a lot of the fundamentals can remain the same, but you know, they definitely, like, for instance, in this matchup, you're either going to go for a Forge Expand, or, you know, you could go for things like a Cannon Rush. There are different cheeses. What he's doing here is a pressured expansion.
Okay.
I don't know if that's what we actually want to call this, but that gateway, it's going to be part of his wall in later on, but he brings out his Zealot. He's going to force some Zerglings. He's going to force some Micro out of J-Dong. And it's just like a way of controlling what they're spending their larva on. You have to make a certain amount of units to counter this, and that's annoying for the Zerg player. You want to just be able to drone if you just want to drone.
Now, this is kind of interesting. On our first week of ASL, we saw almost exclusively okay, whoa.
Big mistake.
Yeah, I mean, pros are pretty much supposed to last, you know, 4 or 5 minutes into the game if you're good at microing them around. But this time around, we're seeing a third expansion happen at the 9 o'clock location, which is a little bit strange since usually we see like the natural or main of another base taken.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that he's going for that location, but it's J-Dong, right? So he might just be like, okay, I'm going to out-micro you and out-macro you. So that's where we're going with this. And I don't need to hide it far away, so it's longer for you to run there.
And it's going to be 3-hatch Hydra coming out as that Dan does get started. Not actually all that many Zerglings forced out. I mean, there's going to be 6 or 8 at the front doors just to kind of scout out and see what's going on. There's actually not a whole lot defending it. There's like 1 Zealot at the front.
Yeah, and 2 above the gate right there.
Oh,
They're hiding in the shadow, but...
Trying to be Dark Templar.
Yeah.
That's not how you do it, guys.
Like, sorry, guys. No, I mean, if you die, you get to be Dragoons, but that's about it. But anyways, he's just kind of like turtling up a little bit, and this is slightly unfortunate for Best, right? He opened up with a pressure build. Jaedong did not have to make that many units, and Best just kind of pulled back. Like, he lost his probe to a couple Lings. He killed no Lings, right? I didn't see him kill a single Zergling. So, I mean, I hope he can get something done right here. Of course, Overlord sees him leave immediately, so we're going to have to see a lot more units made right now. He does still have his initial set of Zerglings, but probably going to see some Hydras popping out.
Yeah, now Best does not know about this 3rd base, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think he's been up there to scout that.
He hasn't scouted it yet.
So a lot of times maybe you expect it to be up in the upper left-hand corner, maybe not. See where he does decide to send this first group of Zealots. Now there are Zerglings just trying to maybe get a surround, pick one off, deal a little bit of damage, and soften up this push.
Yeah, if they can surround him, that would be great. But a quick pullback there by Best as he continues to move forward. More Zerglings here to try to get some sort of flank on the drones being pulled as well. And he is going to get as much damage as he can get on these. Oh, it's actually being pulled back very well into this little area. That is some, like, he is really reducing the surface area that these Zerglings can hit. But look at this drone micro, really screwing things up themselves. Look at this Zealot that hasn't attacked in 400 years. Oh my God, like, great drone drill right there.
Wow, able to just completely glitch the Zealots out. Will he actually even lose a drone? I think he did lose a couple there, but so many at low HP. No, you can actually fit into the extractor.
He right-clicked on the extractor. A big mistake right there. Multiple drones falling at the moment. This little kind of like delayed attack from Best did pretty well there. He definitely handled that right.
And he does discover the 3rd base up to 9 o'clock, so that's going to get scouted out. Nothing mining there just yet, and that single Zealot actually putting in a bunch of work.
Yeah, damaging the hatchery quite a bit, and of course with that many drones that did fall and the fact that he's had to make a lot of Zerglings, now this has worked out a lot better for him. Now, notice how he's adding a lot of cannons here. Those cannons are just because he sees, okay, right now you have a Hydralisk Den, you have 3 hatches. This looks like you could definitely come in and attack me very heavily coming up, but with that many cannons and this low of an economy, like, can Jaedong actually get anything done here? I don't think so.
Well, that's one of the interesting things about Brood War, and just kind of the flow of the game and how it works, is that, you know, you went forward, you did a lot of economic damage, but you lost a lot of military units and killed a lot of economic units. So that means that there's going to be that rubber band effect where now it's Jaedong's turn to put on the pressure. Yeah. You can see him doing that, sieging the front.
Yeah, this is always kind of an annoying moment for Protoss. I mean, if you choose to do an early Hydralisk push like this against Protoss, you are always going to get a couple buildings at the front. Like, I mean, well, you have to so that you can actually get in there anyways, but the Zealots can't come out to fight yet. He just barely got the Citadel, so he doesn't have legs yet.
Well, he does have legs, Artosis. They're not just floating around, but he doesn't have the speed upgrade. I was like, no, I can see him right there. Now moving forward, trying to take out some of these cannons. They are being targeted down here, but a lot of Hydras actually just dying to a Zealots right on top. Probes coming around the corner, and they will actually trap several of those Hydralisks.
Yeah, good little surround there for a moment. He really wants this +1 upgrade to finish up as well, but I don't know if that's going to be possible. More Hydras coming down and targeting that right away.
Yeah, it's actually just going to fall. I don't think there's enough Zealots there to protect it. Corsair's running around trying to find anything that they can pick off or just get scouting info, but that's not going to help alleviate this pressure on Best's front.
Well, Best continues to make these cannons. Of course, he did lose the forge there, so that's a bit annoying, but he started enough cannons that he should be all right for now. Zealot legs should be finishing any time now. He has 4 gates in his main base, so I don't think he's going to die like we saw Movie do against Sulky.
No, yeah, that would actually just be the end of the game. That was actually such a good series. Thanks for reminding. If you guys have not checked out any of our previous games, for the most part, ASL has actually been a super epic series already, and we haven't even seen the best of the best players play against each other yet.
Well, we're seeing Best the player play, but here he goes. He's coming forward with a lot of Hydras. Legs are done. The Zealots run out, and as soon as the Hydras go back, the Zealots go back. A lot of back and forth micro. Look at that. Happens there once again. When the Hydras are hitting the cannons, the Zealots have to come out because the Hydras will kill the cannons. But if the Zealots are hitting the Hydras have to pull back. So you see this dance over and over.
And it's just so beautiful to watch. Kind of a game of chicken, cat. Well, it's not cat and mouse. It's kind of like a game of chicken.
Zealot and Hydra.
New metaphor is being made. So really cool to see both players trying to kind of fake the other one out. It's like, are you going to pull back now? Should I send my Zealots in now? And really reacting very well.
I got to say, I'm liking where Best is at here. He's getting some high Templars. We're still on only 3 hatches for Jaedong. He never saturated that third base. He was pretty low on drones this whole time. Did he do enough damage? Yeah, he forced a lot of cannons. Yeah, he killed a few buildings and got that forge, so I don't think that upgrade ever really finished. But, like, this is so... It's so bad for Jaedong. Like, with the Psystorm coming out and all those Zealots with legs, like... This macro is just not on key right now.
Yeah, talking about macro, this is something that we should probably give a little bit of context about. Bases work a lot differently compared to the way that StarCraft 2 is now to Brood War, so it can be difficult to kind of, gonna pick up a course there. That is, oh my god. It just stops microing it. What?
That's funny. Well, he thought it was dead, I think, is what happened. So he like stopped clicking it for a moment. He's like, oh wait, no, it lived. Okay.
Okay. Well, bonus. So you can stay on bases for longer. There's more minerals that you can do, and you can kind of super saturate them, and it's not quite as bad.
Oh yeah, yeah. You mine, like, the more workers you put on, generally speaking, you mine more. So you can really get your economy quite flowing in StarCraft 1. It's quite different. And you mine 8 per run of a probe, so, or a drone or SCV, whatever. Hydra's moving down right now as Best moves out, and the Corsair draws all the Hydras down here. He's like trying to flank this Corsair, but Best's army runs right past.
Yeah, your princess is in another castle, man. You got to go find that army as it is now sieging dangerously close to that third base. Zealot's running in all over everything. There's no Nidus there to reinforce, but those High Templar might just get picked off towards the back.
Jaedong massively out of position here.
God.
Oh, yeah, that's it. You GG's. Okay, good job there by Best, I do have to say. He said he was going to let Jaedong out in first place, but I guess that his strategy had something else in the cards. That 5 Zealot move out, I was getting a little bit nervous because he opens with the pressure gateway and doesn't get any pressure done. But then when he pulled those Zealots and then went out, did some good damage. And the thing is, he also scouted that it was 3 hatches with a Hydralisk in, so he knew to make a ton of cannons. That bought him the time he needed to get the tech he needed to crush Jaedong in the mid-game.
Yeah, and it can seem a little bit weird just to spend so much money on building nothing but cannons, but it really is worth it to just hang on, macro up, get those High Templars that pretty much just ended Jaedong's career.
Yes, indeed. Well, I wouldn't go as far as ending his career, but definitely ended his life
Which
in
is
that
the
game.
phrase I'm used to saying, and I'm like, wait, no, his career's actually just starting up again.
Yeah.
But Best is able to at least take him out here in the winners match.
Shortest retirement ever, by the way.
Like, oh, sorry, guys, I'm not going to be playing anymore, and I'm back. So, nice to see him.
Well, that's standard as far as StarCraft goes. I've seen so many like pros like announce retirements, and then I'm like, hey, you're on Battle.net. He's like, yeah, just play some games. You announced this 2 hours ago. What's the deal? All right, here we go. The interview with Best.
오늘
congratulations, Best, on your win here. Great performance from you today. How do you feel?
경기하기 전에 되게 부담감이 좀 심했거든요. 사실은 좀 약간 경기력에 대한
Says I honestly felt a lot of pressure coming into today's matches. Because I was getting actually a lot of bad comments about my performance lately online. So I really wanted to play better, and I was very happy that I was able to do that. Shut up the haters.
오히려 운영적으로 저를 흔들려고 하셔서 좀 당황을 하긴 했어요. 소급 셔틀 보고 나서.
그러면서
So Hakkinen was actually a better player than I expected, even though he was an amateur player. He seems like a very good macro player, and it was a very difficult match.
넘어가면 안 진단 마인드여가지고 그때 이겼다 생각했어요.
예, 그게 이 경험의 차이 때문에 뭐 그런 중장기전을 꿈꿨던 것 같고 결국 승리를 따냈는데 마지막 그 폭군 이재동 선수와의 그 대결.
The last match against Jaedong. Tell us about the match. So my probe actually died very early on.
오히려 제가
So I
그걸 생각해서 질럿을 많이 찍어놨는데 그게
kind of
푸시가
thought
오히려 잘
about
들어가서
maybe
제가
Jaedong all inning me.
예, 제가 그 질럿을 쓰게 되면은 질럿들이 양손을 들고 이게 벌을 들고 있는 가만히 서 있는 장면도 만들어지더라고요. 근데 아까 그런 멋진 그런 질럿 무빙은 어떤 식으로 해야 되는 겁니까?
So you showed us some really good zealot micro
특히 뭐 성춘영
in that last game.
옛날에 하셨기 때문에 지금 좀 힘들고
인정합니다.
그럼 저도 힘들까요?
Says it's got to be hard for you to do that because it's been a long time since you've been a pro gamer.
질럿을 리듬을 좀 익히는 게 중요해요. 왜냐면 공격 속도가 적으니까.
So you have to know the rhythm of the zealots.
질럿이 한 대 때리고
Zergling actually has a faster attacking speed, so you have to know when the zealot is going to attack and move accordingly to that.
Micro 101 from Best here.
극복하셔야 됩니다, 시청자 여러분들.
Move real good.
시청자 여러분들께 한 말씀 부탁드립니다.
So you have any final comments to your fans, Best?
까지 가는 것도 못 믿어하시는 분들 많더라고요. 그래서 오늘 제가 열심히 준비했는데 올라가게 돼서 너무 기쁘고 사실은
So I'm sure there's a lot of fans out there that are still doubting my skills, but I'm going to keep doing better and better as the tournament goes on. So I'll try to show better matches in the round of 16.
도재욱 선수 만나봤습니다. 잠시 후
All right,
이제
so we do get another
윤찬희
Protoss
선수와
moving up. Again, like hopefully we get a Zerg in
Danger
round of
zone.
16. Oh
if
my God.
Jaedong can't make it through, then there's a real chance that there's just not going to be any Zergs in the next round.
There's a real chance he won't too, because these other guys, they do look good. So we'll see. We're gonna have the loser match coming up next. Don't go away.
이건 영화 속 이야기도 누군가의 막연한 상상도 아니야. 누구도 기가를 본 적은 없지만 이미 기가 속에서 살아가고 있어. 이곳의 사람들은 감염병을 두려워하지 않아. 빅데이터로 병이 퍼지는 걸 막아주니까. 재난에 절망하는 사람도 없어. 어떤 상황에도 안전통신망이 세상과 연결해주니까. 에너지를 걱정하는 일도 없지. 복합 에너지 운영 시스템이 알아서 관리해주거든. 이것이 KT 네트워크의 힘. 미래는 기가로 이미 시작된 거야. KT.
그들은 실제로 존재한다. 우리들 주변 곳곳에. 우리는 그들을 리터너즈라 부른다. 리터너즈.
이거 효과가 진짜 예뻐. 이건 동영상으로 찍어야 돼. 짱 귀여워. 아 이거 조명 없어도 예쁘게 나와요. 이거 스노우웹 진짜 대박이야. 아 텍스트도 쓸 수 있네. 아 이렇게 쓸 수 있구나. 단체로 이렇게 고양이가 그려져. 이렇게. 저것도 같이 와! 땡기지마!
댄시드와의 결승 무대를 시작하겠습니다.
그런 의미를 담은 그 댄스 퍼포먼스
이 무대를 마음껏 즐기시는 모습을
계속 춤추셨으면 좋겠어요. 꼭. 네.
1등은요 축하합니다 2XC
축하드립니다.
와우
세상이 미래를 상상할 때 우린 미래를 만들고 있어. 우린 자동차와 도로를 연결해 차들이 스스로 움직이는 길을 만들지. 빅데이터로 금융의 패러다임을 바꿔 은행을 찾아다닐 필요도 없어. 그래, 미래는 멀리 있지 않아. 우린 글로벌 기업들과 힘을 합쳐 5G의 세계적인 기준을 만들고 있고 누구보다 먼저 평창에서 5G 세상을 만나게 해줄 거야. 이것이 KT 네트워크의 힘. 미래는 기가로 이미 시작된 거야. KT.
Okay, guys, we have reached the standing room only levels. A bunch of people have shown up and are standing in the back in the hallway, so this is getting pretty tense. People want a Zerg, they want Jaedong in that round of 16. But first, we get the loser match. Who will go up to challenge Jaedong for that spot?
And both of these players have actually showed pretty solid games here tonight. You know, Mong did look a little bit shaky when he did finally tap out there in his first game against Jaedong. Wanting revenge, though, he's got to take out Hakenem, an amateur player who came out and showed really solid play.
Yeah, like overall, I actually liked Hakenem's play a bit better than Mong, but Mong did do very well in the early game against Jaedong, I would say. So he definitely had the right ideas, but kind of fell apart as it got later. As Best was saying, though, like this Hakenem is surprisingly strong. He seems like a good macro player. He did make a few mistakes. We saw the shuttles go down at times that they really shouldn't have and get too low occasionally. But he had a lot of great tactics that he tried to use, and it didn't work out, but it could have on another day.
Yeah, and as we get a chance to see these two players face off, this is probably the most even skill level between two players here tonight. Got a chance to see both of them perform and show their strengths. Well, now we get to find who will advance to take on Jaedong to advance from the group. Who's going home at the end of tonight? So let's get into our losers match between Mong versus Hakenem.
Cause I've had enough.
Pretty good cheers for these players. And here we go. Their lives on the line. In the top right, our blue Terran player taking a drink. Vitamin water. It's Mong.
Powering up, man. He doesn't even need both hands on the keyboard at this stage of the game. His opponent is going to be the, I guess that's Red Protoss. I don't see too many Red Protoss players, but that is going to be a Hakenem amateur player making it through very grueling qualifiers to show his skills here on the ASL stage.
Indeed, indeed. What is that song from my childhood? Mong, 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 mong. Right? You don't know this? Yeah.
Well, I'm sure some other, you know, somebody out there gets that reference. Or
somebody. That's okay.
I'm
a little bit older than everybody that still plays video games, basically. Like
everybody else is just playing with their like dreidels. They're just like, oh my god, this is the most fun. So lots of fan signs in the audience. Really cool to see so much support out there. Oh my goodness. All right, and we're not seeing anything at least super crazy for either player, so always nice to sort of get that out of the way. Reassurance that we will at least see this game last a little bit longer. There have been some pretty cool rushes so far in ASL, but just going to be a standard opener.
All right, well, has this gateway kind of out to the front. Almost looks like a Protoss versus Zerg, but definitely is not. Just wants to be able to rally up quickly. And sometimes it's good to make some buildings in your choked area so that you can stop Vulture run-bys. That definitely can be an issue. A couple of Vultures get into your mineral line, and you're going to lose so many probes.
Yeah, 2 Vultures microed correctly, you can just actually kill infinity probes.
Yeah.
So not a whole lot of ways to take those out. But we will see the route that both players are going to go. What would you expect from this matchup just in general?
Well, definitely mech coming out of Mong here. We're not going to see any crazy bio play or anything. Always mech in this matchup. And the thing is, we don't know exactly how he'll open. There's a lot of different ways you can play mech. There are timing attacks and stuff. We don't see those as often. But more likely, he'll try to get a couple armories going, you know, get up to that 2-1 with like 4 bases and start to really put pressure out onto the map. But there are rush builds that you can open up with mech as well. Like, you can go for a couple factories and do a little push with Marine Tank, the Vulture, something like that. But in the meantime, Hakanim actually sending a Zealot across the map here to see what he can get done. I don't think it's going to get very much done, though, because, look, he's already got the factory in the way. He's got a Marine here. The factory is a little bit out, so sometimes you can delay it quite a bit with the Zealot. But, you know, this wasn't proxy or anything. Like, if it was proxy, the Zealot would already be in there hitting things.
Right, Mong's SCV was actually headed across the map in the correct direction, decided to take a little bit of a turn for the worse down and scout the bottom right-hand side, didn't find anything. And so he is headed right back to scout now the correct direction. But man, that SCV almost getting taken down by the probe. And now here comes the Zealot.
The probe specifically got it down to 15, so the Zealot can one-shot it. Bam,
oh my
down
God.
it goes. Very good move right there from Hakanim to do something like that. Because if you bring it down to 20, then suddenly 2 shots, you might be able to save it and stuff. See, very nice save right there. Had enough time to pull it back. But again, this doesn't really do that much, right? Like, he killed 1 SCV. Okay, that's cool. That's good. He knows exactly what's going on. He's coming back up and seeing if there's anything else to be done. But great micro here from Mong, actually. Wow!
Oh my God. He's actually using the SCVs correctly as linebackers kind of just right in front of those vulnerable Marines. And on the other side, nice control there by Hakanim. Saves his Zealot at just a few HP.
Totally gets it out of there, so that's really nice. Should have a Dragoon popping out relatively soon here. Definitely has that core in the main base. And SCV going to scout what's going on. Sees that the Nexus is already finished. There's not going to be any more real aggression right now. Of course, Dragoon range, super duper important. Kind of like a Zergling speed or siege mode, just things that you're always going to see.
Yeah, in general, and I think this is true just across games almost unanimously, range and speed tend to be the 2 most like arcane kind of concepts, but the strongest out of any statistic.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, right? Like, if you shoot further, that's really, really good, and if you're faster, then that's really, like, those are... Units before that are crappy. Like, a Dragoon without range is trash. A Zergling without speed is trash. You know, it's just the basics of RTS, I guess, or probably really any game.
Well, I mean, games essentially emulate some facets of real life, so it's always cool to see, you know, as much as you do try to, you know, make a new world here in StarCraft, some of the, you know, there's just these intrinsic concepts that you can't escape from. So cool to see those there. SCV probably will go down to that last Dragoon. Oh my God, okay, I guess the SCV did live just barely.
Well, he got some pretty good scouting done. Saw that there's no tech up quite yet here. We do have speed Vultures out, but this is, again, why those buildings in the front are kind of helpful and smart. It's because if he can get these in here, great move.
Oh my God!
Oh, missed target, though, actually shoots his own pylon right there. Not a super big deal.
That's
but
just a high five. Nice block, pylon.
Yeah. But this is why those buildings are so important. If he had no buildings right there, those Vultures would have gotten in.
Yeah, and those Vultures could have been so annoying, very difficult to clear out.
Like, you'll catch them eventually, because there's like a finite amount of space in the main base, so you can corner them eventually, but like, they will do a lot of damage.
That was actually one of my favorite, I remember having like a word problem in my grad class about chase curves and how you can like calculate like where you're supposed to go to optimally catch up to a unit you're pursuing. I wanted to do a project on how Vultures could chase things down, but then you have to get into the micro, and it just would have been way too difficult. So instead, I
that's
just
really cool.
Just did whatever like fox chasing a rabbit or problem that they had, but it still applies.
See, you should have done SCV football. I was the champion of that. It's like, because that's all about just chasing your opponent down and taking the right curves to get there. And great use map for StarCraft 1.
Somewhere out there, there's some white paper written about how to correctly micro the optimal way, but awesome. Just got to throw in a little bit of a math nerd anecdote, just in case there's somebody out there that also likes that too, Artosis. I think that's a pretty good bet.
Yeah, you kidding me? This is, you know, StarCraft, I would say it is one of the older audiences in esports. And if I do say so myself, one of the smarter ones as well.
My.
You handsome people watching at home.
Like lifting up his pinky while he casts.
Well, it's hard to be dumb and play StarCraft, man. Like,
well, I think it's pretty easy to be dumb. I do it all the time when I play.
Yes, being dumb in the game. I'm talking about being dumb in real life. Like,
I find that extremely difficult, Artosis.
Yeah.
I'm just raising the narcissism level as high as possible.
All right. He does have a few mines out here, kind of to slow him down. The Observer is out, so that can be cleared. And looks like we are going to have a little bit of a rush to Arbiters here. Hakanim still just on 2 bases. Going to want to take that third really soon, though. We did see some problems, especially, I believe it was Free playing against Flash, I think, right? Or, no, I'm mixing things up. Anyways, when Free was playing, he, no, maybe it was Flash. Right?
In their games yesterday.
Oh, no, never mind. It wasn't Flash.
Yeah.
Anyways, it was a Terran player. It was maybe, I don't know. My brain is like frazzled, guys. I'm sorry. I'm being stupid. Anyways, if you sit on 2 bases too long, even if you get these fantastic tech units out, you kind of get out macroed a little bit. You kind of just don't have enough units, enough gateways to power through some really entrenched Terran positions. So definitely something we're going to want to see out of Hakanim.
Now,
it looks like he is gearing up for a third at least.
Yeah, pretty interesting to see a command center being built by Mong in the correct position, like right by where you'd normally see him take his third base near his natural, but also building a super secret one down at the bottom of the map for that 5 o'clock position. So,
but look at this. Hakanim gonna come over here and scout this, and he's actually built it. This is a very old trick.
Oh my god.
Yeah, oh my god, indeed. Vultures get in here, so that's a huge move. Those Vultures are killing so many probes right now, and they will get cleaned up, but that was a very strong harass. But this move that he's doing, where he's hid the command center behind, that makes it so that if you scout with a probe or something, a lot of times you just won't see that this base is taken. There's a history of this move within StarCraft on bases that you can do that, but the fact that Hakanim immediately scouted, and he already said that he looked for holes in everyone's play to try to abuse because he's not a full-time player. This guy is like a man after my own heart right now. I love this. He's trying to be extra strategic. He realized that this is within Mong's set of plays, and he's found it right away. So this is a huge moment for him.
And he might have just like found that one replay. It's like, oh, well, yeah, let me remind myself this works. And it's going to force a lift, take out a few SCVs and these Dragoons. Might even just get this burning before it passes to the high ground.
Yeah, this is, what a great move to get that free command center. And like, I mean, some of the SCVs make it out, but this was not worth it at all for Mong.
He's just going to lose it. He maybe mined maybe, I don't know, 100 minerals. So definitely going to be a big loss. A lot of mining time, a lot of SCVs just that won't be able to do a whole lot. So, I mean, Hakanim looking pretty good.
It'll slow all of his pushes going forward and stuff. Just the fact that he built that so early. You see him adding factories right now. 400 minerals gone. That could have been additional factories. But this actually gives even more time right now for Hakanim to do what he wants. And going up towards Arbiters and taking this 4th base, like, I am loving where Hakanim is at after finding that command center. But let's not forget, he did lose a bunch of probes to those Vultures as well.
Yeah, now to keep that from happening again, a bunch of SimCity, lots of pylon walls being built at the front of his third, or of his natural. So probably going to defend against that should it try to happen again. And like you said, 4 bases coming up, really just going to be an economic explosion incoming.
Indeed it is. And they're cross spawns on the map, right? So it's really hard for Terran to even push down there. So like Hakanim is really getting his map going. He has an Arbiter out. We've seen no actual pushes start. In fact, he just started his starport. So Science Vessel is quite a ways off, and you really do need Science Vessels for EMP here.
Definitely do need that. It's kind of a classic battle that you see over and over again in Protoss versus Terran, where Terrans will get the big siege tank lines, Protoss will build arbiters to try to get the stasis on those and really negate the big setup, and then to counter that, then the Terrans will get science vessels to EMP the arbiters, and then to counter the science vessels, you'll see lots of units like Dragoons try to like run forward and snipe them off. And it's just a really cool game of each player trying to get the best of the other player trying to get the best of them.
Yes. It's well said. You know, it's a game of many small counters against each other. The counters are less severe than in StarCraft 2. They're a little bit more forgiving. You can kind of get around them in some different ways in StarCraft 1. And, you know, we'll see if that works out for him here. But, you know, I almost want to call that a sick Artosis pylon, but pylons have so much health in StarCraft 1.
I was just saying, those are pretty buff pylons.
He's got like 9 gates on one pylon. It's so funny.
Well, it would actually just take so much to kill that pylon. There's not really a super easy way to do that.
No, the Terran is not going to get into the main base unless he's like going to win, or this turns into a strange, like rotational, you know.
Yeah, it's like a
refugee
super suicide doom
type
drop or something like that. Either way,
not something you'll see in this matchup very often.
Probably not. Well, we have another Vulture run by coming down, and this has been kind of Mong's go-to to drop down this economic harassment. He does lose all of his Vultures again, but some solid economic damage done.
More Vultures coming down the side. This is exactly the type of thing you need to do right now. He's just kind of slowing Hakanim. This is not going to kill Hakanim at all, but it does kind of slow it down, keeps it more manageable for him. But like, for instance, if Mong wins this game, the game is very, very long. Like, he's in this game for the long haul, which means he needs to be doing things like trading out some Vultures for some damage, trying to gain some value off of that, because Protoss out-expands Terran. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting comparison. Looks a lot like you'd expect to see maybe like StarCraft 2 Zergs do. You just take a billion bases all across the map. And there's even situations where you just can't stop the Terran push, so you just move your main to a different location on the map. And it's cheaper to rebuild it there than it is to lose all your units trying to defend it.
Yeah, it's a very good way to put it. Now look at this eBay. This is really important. It spots the Arbiter so that the missile turrets can start firing before it gets to them, because there's a line of sight blocker behind the turrets. If you don't have that engineering bay there, then when the Arbiter flies there, like, the missile turrets don't fire until it's over them, which means he absolutely can get a recall off. But this, like, very smart move, very methodical play here from Mong to defending everything he possibly can.
Yep, able to stop at least one Arbiter. Now, there is another one up on the other side of the map, trying to maybe put some pressure on what is going to be the 4th base for Mong. So, see which angle he decides to take. Looks like sending some High Templar way over to the opposite side of the map just to shore up that position for now.
Yeah, kind of interesting. He's spreading his army pretty well and taking a lot of bases at the moment, realizing that this is going to go into a very long game. Mong is turtling quite well. He's trying to have some sort of presence with these Vultures. Not getting a whole lot done, but hey,
no, the saddest
very nice.
probes. A nice pickoff there. Roving bands of Vultures have really gotten a lot of work done for Mong this game.
Yeah, now 3 Arbiters flying around. This could be a pretty powerful move. He's going right into the missile turrets, in fact. Okay, yeah, that's actually what those High Templars were doing there. They made hallucinations to send in. Pretty cool move, but doesn't work out. Actually loses the main Arbiter as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, that it was a little bit of a futile attempt. It's still pretty cool, but look at these Vultures, Artosis. That is one dead probe line.
Yeah, very good job there once again. I love that hallucination move. It is on High Templars in this game, guys. But very cool. And looking at this, right, like the Terran has to move out eventually here, whether that is to attack or to suck up more of the map. He is so turtled at the moment. The thing is, you still can get a recall off. It's just, it's going to get messier and messier with how he does it. And eventually he is going to have to attack where the Terran is not. Now, he's moving down, Mong is moving down, so we see Hakanim actually moving up, and this is going to force Mong back. The map is too long, he can't just counterattack. We can't go into a base trade right now with Mong, or Mong will lose.
Yeah, and so instead he is going to have to find a way to deal with that. It's not going to be a crazy recall in the back. It is just going to be pushing up the front, but huge lines of siege tank in the back are really going to stop that push, at least for the time being.
Dude, those the supply depots he has there, like, to break through that is insane. Like, it's so hard for him to break this position. But the more you look at this as Hakunim, you're like, well, my bases are all safe. It's really hard for you to push out here as well. And it's, in fact, even really hard for Hakunim to take a 5th base. If he takes a 5th, it's going to have to be the one that's in the middle right.
Wow, yeah, and it'd be a little bit more difficult to defend there. So for the time being, we're just seeing kind of the push and push back, a big siege up there. So many siege tanks. Oh my goodness. Mong's macro super on point. And when it comes to like the super late end game, Artos, it's like which maxed out 200 supply army wins?
It's mech. Of course, it's mech rapid. Like the mech scales better into the late game when you start actually maxing out this army. Like Protoss will have to whittle it down over time or do things like this where it's like, okay, I'm going to go kill all of your production while you're doing this and then whittle down your army over time.
The main Arbiter does actually get through the missile line right on top of the production facilities.
Yeah.
All that army, right? Being cloaked in the main base.
Yeah.
But you're still seeing the Terran push through.
This is, I'm getting chills. This is so awesome, guys. He's brought in another Arbiter as well. He can recall more if he wants. Yeah, see that? There is a maximum amount of units that you can recall. So sometimes you recall in the second Arbiter to get another recall going. But see, this is turning into a bit of a base trade. If he kills all the production of Terran, it's really hard for Terran to rebuild production and re-get things going. You have to have a bunch of SCVs doing it, have to spread out over a long distance, right? So get in there, kill the production, and then start whittling down the siege tanks. And with the amount of bases he has around, he just starts building gateways everywhere and being as cost efficient as he can, which will be cost inefficient, but he has better production.
Absolutely. So now with the base on fire, this is going to be the most difficult way to get inside the base. You even saw Mong had to kill his own supply depot just to get through, because you're not really thinking, hey, I might need to get back into this base a little bit later on. And in the meantime, I mean, Hakunim's just really not even taking that much damage.
Yeah, you know, he's lost like a couple bases that didn't even really have that much. We do have the rest of his army kind of being killed off here, and there's a lot of missile turrets there, so it's actually hard for him to get out. Just has to be as efficient as he can, which is not at all going to lose those Arbiters as well. But did Mong do enough damage? Did Hakumin do enough damage? He actually didn't kill all of the production. He did a good job killing off Spidey because we see a lot of those being killed or rebuilt, but there's still quite a few factories, so Mong can remax here.
Certainly can. He also built, like you said, all those supply depots, so even though he did lose quite a few, he'll still be able to construct additional units with those. So really kind of, I guess, do I want to say an even trade? This is where it takes a little bit of extra work if you're watching Brood War games, because we don't actually have as much information.
Yeah.
You kind of just have to look and see.
Well, looking at it, right, he has technically 1, 2, 3, 4 mining bases. His probe count in the top left, I believe, is not full, so it's not a full saturation there. For mining bases for Mong, the main and natural are basically gone. He is taking his 5th, so he's still doing all right, because don't forget, you don't have to have as many bases. Like, you can be down a bases Terran against Protoss, absolutely, and just kind of rely on the cost efficiency of your mech army. So as long as he's still moving very carefully and he's methodical about this, he can still be in good shape.
2-2 completed there for Mong. I didn't see the armory spinning for 3-3, so he's going to hold off a little bit on that. Trying to keep an eye on the upgrades for the Protoss player. I think Hakunim.
This is a really good move, taking out another base for Protoss. And the thing is, Hakumin isn't doing anything right now. He's clearing a few mines in the middle of the map, and that's it. And I don't think his army is... Yeah, look at the way his army is spread right now. He can't really clear this army that's going down to kill his base. He's sending a lot of Zealots down, but these are just going to be wasted.
Yeah, even with a D-Matrix there, that tank might even just not die. He's actually been losing forces in the middle of the map. Hakunim just running into a few of those siege tank lines, and I mean, yeah, not even that many takes being taken down. The base totally sieged into the ground.
He has to kill this army. He can't let the army go home or go kill something else the Terran has. He can't just let that happen and sit in the middle of the map as we kind of see him doing right now. Of course, Mong has done a great job. Like, he's put a lot of mines down. He has some tanks siege throughout the map. That slows down Protoss armies so much. You can't be running into spider mines or you're just going to get slaughtered.
Yeah, now Dragoon's moving forward, but taking just siege tank shot after shot. Vulture's pushing them back as the siege line moves forward. Starting to see the first storms of the game drop. They're doing a decent amount of damage, but it's just not enough to stop this big neck push.
Some High Templars coming out, getting ready to Psystorm if that army continues to chase him down. Still a pretty solid economy, a lot of gateways out on the map as well, but having a hard time actually clearing any of Mong's units. Gonna have to back up right there. Does get a few Siege Tanks, but Siege Tanks are just so good against Dragoons.
And even High Templars just can't get in range without getting killed off before they can drop the Psystorms if they need to. Pushing up to the front. There is actually a couple of nice storms there onto the back tanks, but they don't pick them off. Finally, a second one used to whittle down these siege tank numbers, but I mean, this is just going to be the opening of another franchise in his base. You know what the name of that franchise is, Artosis?
What is it?
McDonald's.
McDonald's. Oh my God.
Well, it's going to be the newest opening. Right there in the front as the siege tank walls push forward.
Oh, jeez. And it looks like he's going to attack the top left and open a Wendy's up there. Yeah, am I doing it right, Rapid?
Artosis, not the Wendy's build. He's going to break the tank line with a sick recall, so at least that's going to alleviate some of this pressure.
Okay.
But still a lot of units lost here for Hawken.
Yeah, he's trying to hold on. Like, he can't lose the bottom right, I think. This is, like, very important. He has gateways in 3 corners of the map, which is quite nice. It's important in StarCraft 1 to have your gateways spread out late game against Terran so you can have units attacking different locations. You don't have warpins. Like, you've got to make the units out of the gateways, then send them where they got to go. And if he loses this location with 2 mining bases, I think that becomes too hard to win from.
There's just too many vultures here. Even with this Psystorm, there's just going to be so many. Dragoons are not even there. It's just Zealots to defend. And, I mean, vultures don't really have too much of a problem against them.
Certainly they do not. A lot of probes look like they should be going down. Still a good amount of army being made in that bottom right main for Hawken. Has an Arbiter there as well, but there is a Science Vessel with that army. There are Goliaths also, so a lot of counterplay. Oh God, he gets the EMP off. Ooh. It feels like as we get later into this game, Hawken is having a harder time. Like I see a lot of chunks of army that are just sitting around while this is happening, when you kind of have to be a little bit more active on, I mean, if the Terran is out on the map like this, you need to be picking off units, you need to be stopping the rally that he has coming down the map, you need to be crushing the army. Any of these things you can be doing, but we just don't see him really moving army very much here.
Now, maybe another recall or just trying to break through this line of spider mines. A 3-tank stasis is just not the recipe for success.
No, he's doing that so that he can clear these mines out and then run in, because that is a, oh wow, that's a great stasis right there. He should be able to break it now. A lot of spider mines out, though, to clear these Zealots.
Yeah, but coming in from behind, this should be enough to just get through nothing but vultures. Only really 1 tank there left to fire, so great stasises will allow Hawken to probably clean this up.
Okay, he needs to not only clean up the units that are alive there, he needs to clean up both the sets of tanks that are stasis. That's really important. He can't lose everything. Like, if those unfreeze and live, the game is basically over.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly starting to look like it might be. See when those do unstasis. Okay, so doing a good job clearing up at least 1 patch of stasis units. But here comes number 2, and those are going to be a lot more difficult to take out.
Yeah, those Dragoons standing a little bit too far back. He will eventually kill them off, it looks like, but there's still a big blob of blue mines in front of this area. See, there's such map control going on for Mong. He can just continually rally down, and like, if he could save any of those tanks, it would be pretty awesome, but he's already done a ton of damage in that bottom right.
Arbiters being used. Arbiters actually deal like 5 damage in auto attack or something.
It's 10 damage total. It's explosive damage. It's like, literally, it's a nerf to Arbiters that they deal damage. You'd rather them not have an attack, that is a fact. Because they get targeted by Goliaths because of this, basically.
Units.
Yeah, they actually have a high priority.
Yeah, so if they didn't have any attack, you'd be able to fly your Arbiters right into Goliaths, and they would be targeted after attacking units on the ground.
Yeah, something like that, exactly.
Yeah,
right?
so you'd run like a couple Zealots in, and your Arbiters could just get off the most perfect stasis.
Yeah, it's... So, I mean, I'm sure a lot of Protoss players would prefer to not have that attack, but sometimes it comes in handy to deal some damage there, I guess. But Hawken is, like... It feels like he's on his last legs here.
Yeah, it certainly is. And even though he does have those legs upgraded, they're still not going to be able to stand up for very much longer.
Yeah, it's barely mining up there. This base has a spider mine blocking it, so he'll know that he's taken that. Luckily, he does have a lot in the top left. And we don't see any signs of a 6th base. Of course, you can lift off a command center and fly it over. Okay, he's going to build some down here where it wasn't mined out too fast, but God, I got to say, I'm really impressed with how Mong has played this, especially after he lost that early command center. He did some decent vulture harass. He turtled extremely well. And as we get later, Hakumen just is having a hard time getting anything at all done.
Yeah, playing the long game proves to be pretty difficult for him. And I mean, this is just a classic slow and steady wins the race mech kind of play. Did you know, Artosis, glass is actually a liquid? If you leave a pane of glass over like many years, it will actually start to drip downward. And that certainly looks like what the map looks like, is this Terran force just over eons starts to edge down towards the bottom of the map. And he has been able to take out everything down there. Those stasises maybe not quite on the money as now. This is going to be the mobile version effect, trying to push forward, but Storms will push it back.
It really will drip.
It really will. That's why if you see glass
but
in
I don't
old
think it's
buildings.
It's not an actual liquid though, right? It is actually solid.
Well, I mean, you don't really expect solids to be dripping on you.
Well, I mean, is that the melting? Hold on, we have a big engagement here, and he is finally trying to break through. Great size storm. The Zealots running up as well. The Arbiter's not really doing that much because they see everything, and eventually Mong will hold, but that was an important moment there for Hakumen. That is the first time that he really challenged the big 3-3 mech army.
Yeah, 3-3 complete. I'm glad you mentioned that, because at this point, those upgrades are just going to make siege tanks super effective. Even vultures when they run through. Vulture damage, I believe it's concussive damage. So a lot of times that does just get mitigated so much that it's much less effective than you'd imagine.
Massive. It does tons of damage against like Zealots and probes. Right. That's full damage there, but you know, against like a building, like try to kill a Nexus with vultures. You'll get rid of the shields quick enough, but the building itself, man, oof, it'd take a bit.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that one vulture working on that Stargate. It's going to be there for a while.
Yeah.
Sieging up, though, right up at the front, and this means that even though we did get a chance to see Hakumen maybe start to come back, it's going to take a lot more here, and I'm just not sure he has the units.
He's trying to push over this bridge. The Arbiter coming in. This is a little bit risky. It's super low on health. He's got to hit this quick. Okay, he does hit that off, and there's some siege tanks, I believe, right outside here, but he does lift that command center immediately and evacuates the SCVs.
Yeah, Storm to kill a lot of those workers up at the top there, though, so at least a little bit of economic damage done. Vultures being rallied over down to the bottom, I guess that, what is that, 4 o'clock base, but even still, that is not going to be able to save him from this very strong mech push.
Yeah, he's trying to whittle this stuff down over time. That was a really good size storm. Unfortunately, loses a couple units there, doesn't get the kills. Continuing to kill off what he can and do damage. This is a huge pickoff right there. Like, the thing is, he's only got this top left mining base. It looks like he retook his third. I'm not sure what the probe saturation is on that, though. So that might not be giving him as much income as it looks like. Like, I'm trying to look at it on the minimap, and it seems like it's not fully, but I'm not 100% sure. You can't. It's a little bit blocky, these graphics here.
All right, well, Cannon's in the middle line, and the defense, as about the only defense to defend that upper left-hand base. I don't know. I think that might be a little futile at this point, but going in for yet another recall, but enough Goliaths to take that Arbiter out.
Yeah, he doesn't quite get the recall off. It was probably for that set of Zealots, and this is like the push of doom. That is such a strong push of Mong in the top left.
I'm trying to keep an eye on Protoss upgrades. I believe he has 3 attack for ground, but no air upgrades. So that's going to make the Zealots and Dragoons pretty strong, but trying to see what the armor is there, too. So yeah,
it has 3. Yeah, but no shield upgrades. Just in general, Protoss doesn't scale as well upgrade-wise into the late game. Because a lot of times you have to skip something like plasma shields. It costs a lot of money, a lot of forge build time and stuff. And
yeah, that was a big question I had when I first started playing Brood Wars. Like, why don't Protoss ever get shield upgrades? It's just actually so expensive.
It definitely is very expensive. And it matters what you're fighting against, really, and what type of units you're making, because a lot of times you have more health. Because Zealot has more health than shields, for instance. But anyways, a big stasis does go down on those Goliaths. That's kind of nice. And the Zealot's getting on top of some of these siege tanks, but this is only a chunk of the army of Mong. And oh god, he's drawn him back through these mines.
Oh, actually a nice mine drag does take out a couple of different tanks, but he will need to watch out as Spider Mines keep picking off the rest of his units. Oh, and yeah, just now so many spider mines. You just can't move up into that.
The amount of mines on this map is just fantastic. Mong has done such a good job at keeping those out there as well. It's the most annoying thing in the world for a Protoss to have to deal with.
Yeah, it's like spreading creep. It's that thing that actually just takes so much focus over the course of a long game. And in Brood War especially, free units are pretty hard to come by. So that's why Vultures only have a finite number of mines you can't refill. Can you imagine if you could rebuild mines on a Vulture?
Oh god, that would, I don't even know.
How many OSLs you would have won by now?
Yeah. Still none, but yeah. Thank
Well,
you.
you know, more percentage-wise.
Sure.
It's going to be like 0.2 decimals count. So either way, the big push down here, just taking out one base after another. And at the end of a very long game, Hockenham forced to GG.
All right, that was a pretty good game, actually. Mong showing quite a bit of skill in this matchup and will be able to go up to fight against Jaedong again for that spot in the round of 16. Hockenham, I thought he played pretty well. The later we got, the more difficult it became. Like, he got his recall in through the fancy use of hallucination, and I thought that was a good move, but Mong dealt with it more quickly than you would hope as a Protoss player. He saved a lot of his factories, rebuilt the depots right away, still had turret rings up, so it was not as if he could do a follow-up to kill off all those buildings he's already damaged and whatnot. So after that, though, it felt like Hockenham started to fall apart. He was never really whittling down the main army. The push was really getting out of hand. He was not counterattacking in locations. A lot of that comes down, though, to Mong's excellent placement of spider mines throughout and leaving a few siege tanks here and there to punish any Dragoons trying to clear the middle of the map.
Yeah, he just never stopped working. No lunch breaks allowed. Always spreading spider mines out there across the map, taking out one base after another. I mean, Hockenham did show that he's capable of playing kind of toe-to-toe through the long game, but just started looking weaker and weaker as the game drew on.
Yeah, so, you know what, Hockenham, I hope that he continues to practice as much as he can with his full-time job, and maybe we'll get to see him again in the future in some StarCraft tournaments. So I liked his play. It seems like he's a pretty strong up-and-coming player, but he is out in last place, unfortunately, which means that we only have one match left for tonight. It's going to be Jaedong, a Zerg player. Oh, my God. Oh, a Zerg. Going up against Mong. So after this quick commercial break, we'll see. Will we get a Zerg in that round of 16?
이건 영화 속 이야기도 누군가의 막연한 상상도 아니야. 누구도 기가를 본 적은 없지만 이미 기가 속에서 살아가고 있어. 이곳의 사람들은 감염병을 두려워하지 않아. 빅데이터로 병이 퍼지는 걸 막아주니까. 재난에 절망하는 사람도 없어. 어떤 상황에도 안전통신망이 세상과 연결해주니까. 에너지를 걱정하는 일도 없지. 복합 에너지 운영 시스템이 알아서 관리해주거든. 이것이 KT 네트워크의 힘. 미래는 기가로 이미 시작된 거야. KT.
당신의 꿈은 무엇입니까? 레전드, 경쟁, 노력, 꿈. 여러분들 꿈을 만드셨으면 좋겠습니다. 그럼 KT 기가 인터넷 많은 사랑 부탁드립니다.
4년 동안 쉬지 않고 노력과 열정만으로 달동네를 벗어났어요, 정말로. 듣고 계시는 분들도 이렇게 많다라는 게 정말 믿기지가 않아요. 포기하는 순간 나날이 후회하면서 살게 되는 게 아닌가. 초심을 잡는 그런 날이 됐으면 좋겠습니다. KT요! 기가!
엉덩이를 들어봐.
이게 내 진심인 거야.
기가! KT요! KT와 아프리카TV가 만든 KT 기가 레전드 매치 선수의 9월 선수로 복귀를 합니다. 대표 인생의 완성 최고의 선수.
이런 멤버가 다시 모일 줄은 저도 생각 못했는데 클래스 클래스는 어디 가지 않는다는 걸 보여드리겠습니다.
오, 드디어 기다렸던 날이 왔습니다. 특백링상이 여기서 만났어요. 이게 이제 몇 년 만입니까? 시작! 치고 들어가는데요. 디드라의 땡이드라의 밀나요 체제. 기가 막히게 잡아내면서 이번 경기 승리를 만들어냈습니다. 2027년 만에 맞대결이고 결승전에 올라갈 선수는 누가 될지 기가급 속도로 오고 있어요. 기가급 속도로. 김태경 선수가 승을 따내고 대망의 결승전 대결. 전설 중에 전설은 누가 될 것인지 이재동 선수예요. 김태경 선수 만나보겠습니다. 최고의 자리로 우뚝 설 수 있을 것인지 칠러 달립니까 이번에?
아 진짜 까다롭네요.
네요. 제재 우승자 프로토스 비수 김태경.
택배일상이 이렇게 모여가지고 다시 게임 할 수 있다는 것에 너무 감사드립니다.
너는 내 destiny 떠날 수 없어 난
캐디 기가급 특급 매치 지금부터 시작하겠습니다. 오늘 4강 첫 번째 경기에서부터 시작됩니다. 어떤 경기 펼쳐지게 될지 여러분들 많은 기대 부탁을 드리도록 하겠습니다. 네, 자 연장전 마지막 경기입니다. 마지막 기회입니다. 한 번의 기회. 티켓스타즈가 승리를 가져갑니다. 결승전의 티켓은 단 한 장. 런어웨이 팀 대 아프리카 프릭스 레드. 자, 런어웨이가 역전 분위기.
런어웨이가
못 밟아요. 런어웨이 됩니다. 자, 이제 결승전 경기만을 남겨두고 있습니다.
자,
보여. 진영 무너졌어요. 자,
어디가 들어서
자, 우승태 BK 스타즈입니다.
직접 이런 부스에 서가지고 우승할 수 있게 돼가지고 정말 기쁘고요.
네, 오늘 정말 멋진 경기 보여준 BK 스타즈 여러분 다시 한번 뜨거운 박수 부탁드리도록 하겠습니다. KT업 기가 감사합니다.
세상이 미래를 상상할 때 우린 미래를 만들고 있어. 우린 자동차와 도로를 연결해 차들이 스스로 움직이는 길을 만들지. 빅데이터로 금융의 패러다임을 바꿔 은행을 찾아다닐 필요도 없어. 미래는 멀리 있지 않아. 우린 글로벌 기업들과 힘을 합쳐 5G의 세계적인 기준을 만들고 있고 누구보다 먼저 평창에서 5G 세상을 만나게 해줄 거야. 이것이 KT 네트워크의 힘. 미래는 기가로 이미 시작된 거야. KT.
Welcome back. It is the final match of the night. Jaedong, the legend himself, can he make it out of this group?
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be facing off against Mong as his final opponent. But Jaedong holds the hope of not only his fans, but also all the Zerg players in his hands. Of course, we do have Hero coming up tomorrow as another good possibility to advance, but it's looking slim for the Overmind as Jaedong comes up against his final opponent.
Well, truth be told, before Kerrigan, there was Jaedong, right? Like, this guy is truly the leader of the Zerg, and if anyone can do it, it is him. God, I hope he does it. I mean, Mong is looking pretty good, but he did end up falling apart a little bit. You know, towards the end of that matchup against Jaedong.
Yeah, and for Mong, he just finished playing a very long, drawn-out Terran versus Protoss, so that might have taken a little bit out of him. On the other hand, that might just have been easy mode, you know, sitting back, you know, playing with one hand, just saying, okay, well, I've got about 30 minutes to win this game, and not fatiguing himself out too much.
Yeah, I mean, it's still, I think that he definitely, That's something people don't consider too much. Jaedong got to rest that time, right? He got to meditate, do whatever he wants, sit back, relax. And Mong had to play a long one. So, you know, this is kind of the problem for him. He could be a little bit tired, but, you know, these guys train hard. Let's see what he's got.
They play
Show
hard.
me what you got.
Jaedong's about to do it. Can he save the Zerg planet, or will Mong be the giant head to take him out? We're about to get into our last match of the night as Jaedong takes on Mong to make it out of the group.
Almost.
Almost.
You've displeased the Korean cast.
Oh, man. Now we got to really show them what we got. But here we go into our last game of the night.
Cause I've had enough.
Lots of cheers out here in the absolutely packed Africa Freak Up Studios, and here it is in the blue as the Zerg player times 2006 Person of the Year. It's Jaedong.
I don't know if that's true, but
it is. You can look it up. I 100% promise you. His opponent, this is Mong, the Terran player we just finished looking up, or getting to see. Times 2006 Person of the Year is you. So,
yeah.
You know, I'm sure it's true if Jaedong looked it up.
All right. So, is that actually true?
It is.
Yeah.
Some like marketing journalist walked into his boss's office. He gets this like :greater than sign face on. He's like, "What if we just made it you?" And it was like, "My God, you're a genius.
So smart."
And that is the world we live in.
Pre-meme.
Before the memes, there were the pre-memes. They built the obelisks on the planet before humans settled it.
There's no evidence of their existence. Like, yeah, there is. There's magazines still. I'm like, oh, okay.
A little bit of a shout out to Jaedong's tag there, his old clan Endai. That's how I actually first found out about Jaedong. I'm Googling. It's like, oh, this Endai guy is pretty good, but I don't know why he has the Jaedong tag. And then I was just an idiot. But I learned since then.
That's
that was
funny.
my first game of Brood War I watched. Cut me some slack. All right, well, this is the most exciting part of the game, where we watch drones mine minerals and barracks be built.
Yeah, no, I love this part as well. No command center first or anything like that. Mong is taking it a little bit safe here. Drone coming out for a scout and hatchery being made, of course. Nothing too crazy. Would we expect Jaedong to once again go for quick lurker tech? I think that part of the reason he did that was he was very specifically playing the map, Benzene, and trying to get, you know, for instance, the lurker drop behind the natural. That move itself did so much damage. That was like a really critical thing that went wrong for Mong. So I don't think we'll see that again. I didn't think we'd see it the first time, but I think even especially now, I'd like to see the Mutalisk play out of him.
Yeah, and we've really seen that particular spot to put siege tanks, lurkers, anything right up there be exploited this second week of the ASL. So really excited to see, you know, what other facets of these different maps will be utilized to that extent. Now, workers getting a little bit of a high five there in the middle of the map. SCV kind of has to fight because the drone will be able to kind of just mini outrange it.
Yeah, I'm going to run away here, healing up a little bit as well, harassing that SCV as much as possible. Want to get that out of there ASAP. Still going after the drone, hunting him down. But he's going to get in here, see the third hatch. This definitely could allow him to get the quicker upgrades that we've seen pretty regularly done against the 3-hatch play.
Command center coming up on the back of that, so it looks like Mong is not just going to, you know, do anything crazy, not one base in it this time around, going forward his expansion. Now, just a lot of scouting information coming out there, but we'll see. I think the most valuable thing is the third hatchery in the main.
Yeah, most certainly. And you can see Jaedong actually kind of showing off his micro there. He did the shot into the moving shot twice now. We've seen it. Because the drones do, yeah, beautiful micro there by Jaedong. Guys, like, these are some of the differences that you see between, like, the best Zerg ever and then, like, other Zergs, is that he did 2 moving shots and then a course correction on the drone to hit the SCV for the final hit. So he's actually cleared that SCV really, really quickly.
And what you don't appreciate just watching is until you go into the game and try to do that yourself, it is just so hard. And while it's, it's not going to win him the game by any means, little by little, those things kind of add up over the course. And it actually does make a big difference if you are able to perform that consistently.
Look, for instance, we have an SCV. Another SCV had to be sent to scout. He needs to kind of check out what's going on. And that is incredibly annoying for a Terran player. You only start with 4 SCVs here. This is not like StarCraft 2 in that regard. You don't get the extra workers. So, you look at that, and that's one less SCV. That's a big deal. That adds up.
Yeah, big advantages were little advantages put together. There's the Hydra Den coming down as the lair is starting to be morphed, so it looks like that is what we are going to be seeing out of Jaedong for the time being, and just going for +1 stim. I actually didn't see the academy, but it's there. Right?
Yes. Most certainly. That would be hilarious if you didn't have an academy. It's like, oh, Jaedong's like, okay, so I can do anything I want to win? Sick.
Against drug use. Does not want to be stimming, but yeah, he will be having that and +1 on the way, but also bunkering up just in case.
Lurkers will be, once again, what Jaedong goes for. I'm kind of sad. I wanted to see more Mutalisk openings just because his micro is so intense. It's really on another level of most players. There's only a few Zergs that have ever reached Jaedong-like levels of micro, so unfortunately that won't be the case here, but we did see him go into it a little bit later on, which was kind of neat in the previous game against Mong. And the observer's showing no academy or no comsat stations quite yet to scout exactly what this is.
Well, here come all of the lurkers out, or not lurkers, but Hydralisks finally popping out. Yeah, lurkers now, that'd be a little scary, but we'll start to at least pressure on the front of the natural, rallying all of those down. But I know there are plenty of barracks there, a good front wall off with the Marines outside the bunker for now. I wonder kind of if Mong is going to see this coming. It certainly looks like he's prepared specifically for this.
Yeah, he has this bunker here. It's not perfectly placed for that, but okay, he gets one scan off there, trying to figure out. He doesn't know yet. If he scans the natural, obviously he'll find out right away. That scan did not see the den as far as I can tell. From where, it definitely didn't see it. The lurker eggs are morphing. Okay, he sees it. This is important now. He has to move out a little bit, and he should be building more bunkers in the front. Yep, very well done. If you just have that bunker that's behind the depot, like, that's against Mutaling, that bunker. That's like one where it's kind of messy for him to run in with melee units or flying units into this, like, further in position. You need stuff out in the front, slow those lurkers down as far away from your minerals as you can.
Yep, force them to siege, unsiege, just like what you do with the Terran push incoming. You just want to slow it down so that you have more to stop it when it does finally get there. So stimming, running forward, trying to pick off lurker by lurker. He actually does not get one. We'll lose a couple.
Yeah, don't forget, those comsats were a little bit later this game, so he just uses 2 scans. He doesn't really have detection. He is building a missile turret. Wants to get that vision off. No, too close, so does back up for the time being. Jaedong doing a good job of pushing him back, and when he scans, I mean, we'll see. I think that Jaedong will stay out of bunker range, because if he gets in bunker range and a scan stim spread, he's going to lose all his lurkers. But in this position, it's kind of like a mini choke. It's really pretty hard to engage into that with the force he has.
He's going to try for it, the big burrow, and look at those spines coming out. Lurkers will survive in the back, but all of these Zerglings going down, it looks like a pretty good hold there, and Mong's going to survive.
See, this is why I was saying I didn't think Jaedong would do that. He killed off a decent amount of bio there, I guess, but he lost a lot of Zerglings. He only has 4 lurkers left sitting down there, so maybe not as effective as what Jaedong was really looking for.
Yeah, also lost a good supply of lings there. Maybe not expensive mineral-wise, but a lot of larvae being invested in that. So still sitting on those same 3 hatcheries, although maybe looking to... what do you think the play is? You still try to crack that front door now that it's been locked down?
Oh, no, definitely not. Like, I would even say that move that we just saw was most likely a real mistake. Like, yeah, you shaved off some of the bio, but look at this. He can now break out a lot easier. And in fact, the lings coming down for the rally do push him back, so he can't quite break out there. So nice rally by Jaedong, keeping enough units there to slow him down still.
Spire has been added on, so we'll see if that may be for a Muta switch or what that is, the purpose is there, because it doesn't look like he's really going to commit to more lurkers to try to keep this siege up with more and more bio being rallied out. It looks like Mong should be able to break this pretty soon.
Yeah, he's definitely going to get out of there. As soon as the siege tank comes, Jaedong is going to have to pull back. And, you know, I believe he does have some mutas that are going to be hatching soon here. Of course, no production tab, but we'll see. He does have that Spire up. A lot of turrets actually on the way. So he's super preparing for these mutas. And it's smart. He needs to have some turrets in the main, not just because Jaedong's micro is so good, but because he has to get out on the map soon. And he can't leave his whole army at home. He needs to have some static D here.
Well, here come the Mutalisks. You get a chance to count them, but it looks like there are about 6 in this first grouping that will be microing right into double turrets. So gonna have to keep an eye on those, but picking off just little tiny bits of Marines right over the production facilities.
Yeah, getting what he can, but really great turret placement here. Very hard for Jaedong to get any structural damage done there. Just gonna have to kill whatever units he can for the time being. Decent lurker spread here still. Very tough to run into those with bio, which is why he's getting the siege tank. He's getting a science vessel right now as well. And that's like, this is like a very standard set of units. This is very old school meta that we're watching. A 3 siege tank science vessel push out. You'll take a third behind this while rallying in your Marines, and this is where you have to put pressure on.
Yeah, still the lurker contain out there, killing off the bunker just to allow the M&M to flood up to the natural where it needs to be. Bunkers cannot salvage them in this game, so you do have to take them out.
Yeah.
Here come the Scourge, trying to maybe get into a position to pick off that science vessel as it moves forward, reveal the lurkers.
Yeah, if you kill the first science vessel in this type of position, it gives you a huge advantage as a Zerg player. And I believe he sent 2 Scourge down bottom, knowing that after the first science vessel, a dropship could be very, very good here.
Oh, but losing both of those Scourge, trying to run in from the top and just siege, unsiege over and over again is what we're going to see from these lurkers. But yeah, can't really do that with a science facility or science vessel revealing.
Yeah, and yeah, those Scourge are waiting for any possible.
Oh, big irradiate. He's not splitting the Mutalisk. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Jaedong just lost almost every single Mutalisk.
That's almost a game-winning move for Mong, or you could call it a game-losing micro mistake here by Jaedong. That is exactly how you do it. We saw Light before screw up with this. You have to hit a muta in the middle of the stack if at all possible, and there is a certain way to click to do this. Mong just did it beautifully. Jaedong is, or he was, probably the best in the world at pulling out the Radiant Muta. It's super hard to tell which one it is because the splash damage is gigantic, so all the mutas are going down so fast. But like, that did insane damage. His mutas are basically worthless now.
Oh yeah, and he only has like a couple of them left. And once you lose that many, you're not going to remake another huge block. Because right now he has to worry about this huge bio push that's knocking at his front door.
Well, he's getting the Defiler Mound, but he needs to get that out ASAP. These siege tanks can chew through lurkers very quickly. Trying to get that science vessel. If he does get it, it's a big, big deal. Oh wow, a dropship actually got out of there.
Wow.
Didn't see that exit, but that's actually really good for him.
He's going to get scouted out, but that should be up there to either pressure the 9 o'clock or the base in the upper left. And of course, there is only one base at those positions. Nice Zerglings right there where they need to be, but another big push forward, trying to get those lurkers burned up in the front. But will they be good enough? The Scourge need to find that science vessel. And it does look like it will connect with one. The second one running forward, but it dies right before it kills the science vessel.
Oh god, this is not good for Jaedong right now. Mong has dealt with this well enough. And he will take out that final lurker. Oh, God. 5 lurkers going to come up from behind. He should have a Defiler out right now. So with the Defiler, he might be able to still just sit here and hang on. But that was a good engagement for Mong. These are the type of moves he needs to do.
I mean, Jaedong's macro super on point. He's just got tons more units ready to go. He's denying reinforcements out there and has the lean numbers that he needs to really pick off this force.
Ooh, he's going to lose all the medics here as well. The other lurkers going back to join the main chunk of army. Nidus is set up, a 4th base being taken. Don't forget, Mong is still sitting on 2 bases.
Right, and Artosis, if I'm not mistaken, we just saw Mong actually move out and really crush a lot of Jaedong's forces, but he's got more.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's Jaedong, right? This guy has sick macro. He's had 3 bases for a very long time.
And I just want to like emphasize again that this is where not having as much information as far as like army and supply tabs, it really makes this game a lot more exciting because you don't know how good the guy's macro is. Yeah. It turns out it's pretty good.
Oh yeah, you never really know. Oh my god, those were fantastic Scourge from Jaedong. You really need your vessels right now. The Darkstorm goes down and he will kill off almost every single siege tank. Oh, dude, like right now, especially on this composition, you have to keep your Science Vessels alive. Otherwise, there is literally no way to break through Darkstorm. You have to be using Irradiate over and over and over on these Defilers, but losing 2-3 Vessels right there, losing a Vessel before as well, that is a ton of gas. It's like 225 gas for a Science Vessel.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, indeed.
Might as well be battle cruisers at that point. They're so expensive. You do need to keep them alive just so you have even a little bit of a chance at dealing with lurkers under Swarm. Jaedong having that Defiler tech out just in the nick of time, defended Mong's push, and now he's starting to push back.
Okay, coming up right now, he does see a Defiler. Irradiate immediately will go down on him. And this is always a great move. The Irradiate takes a while to deal all its damage, so whenever you Irradiate Defiler, you'll see it cast a spell and immediately eat some stuff for another one. If you can just... Dark Swarms are just an area Terran can't go into.
Yeah, and they do actually last for quite a while, so you do not want to try to just wait it out. You're just wasting your time.
Yeah.
So, especially with now, oh my God, he's going to move this so close to the Scourge. Oh my God, he's moving back!
Yeah, that was tempting fate in a way. I'm surprised. I just heard a Science Vessel go down, by the way.
Okay, so maybe somewhere else. Science Vessels dying is probably like one of my favorite sounds in Brood War.
You're disgusting. You're disgusting. That is the saddest sound in the whole world.
It's like, oh no, I
just
just lost so much. Zerglings rallied in a little bit of a rough spot.
Okay, Mong is out on the map right now. He's going to be taking his third base. The command center is flying over there. Jaedong trying to utilize his high ground with these lurkers. Ooh, this is sloppy by Mong. He's got to be very careful about that indeed. Some good Irradiates coming down. You can Irradiate lurkers if you don't see anything else. You want to keep using that energy as much as you can because you will lose these sometimes.
Oh, looking for maybe a Plague. That's going to be a Swarm instead, just pushing this Bio back.
This is that AI thing we were talking about before. Like the Lings come in and the Marines attack those so the Scourge can hit. Very good move there. And a Plague goes down, which will suck all the energy out of those medics. Nice moves by Jaedong. He's doing a great job. Like, there's been some good engagements by Mong, but Jaedong has really found his stride as far as macro goes.
And I was so worried there after Mong broke that push and killed all of Jaedong's Mutalisks. But, I mean, even just Zergling is able to find breaks and holes in these tank lines. I think those were the 2 Mutalisks he had surviving from last time that just, like, ran down to the bottom and got unhotkeyed and stayed there for a while.
All right, a lot of Vultures out on the map. We might be seeing a mech transition coming up here pretty soon. A couple, I was going to say Medivacs dropships going across the map right now. Going to see if he can get some damage done on those upper left bases.
Yeah, and a really big difference between this game as opposed to Mong's last game. There's no huge spider mine fields laid out there. Lots of Zerglings clearing them out. We've seen that happen time and time again. And just the economy for Mong might just start to be a little bit taxed. He was on 2 base forever. He's finally got a 3rd one up, but we'll see if he can go up against this. Nice Plagues there on a lot of the Vultures with Hive Tech already out. We'll see how much damage this drop can do.
Okay, he's going to have to do a lot with it. This is like the tech that Jaedong's going for is very good against Bio, so doing what he can, going after the Evolution Chamber. That's actually a very nice pickoff to kind of slow down these upgrades that are so good against the Bio in the late game. Going to get both Evolution Chambers, in fact, forcing a lot of units back, and that allows Mong to move around more on the map. If you look at that mini-map, while this is happening, Mong is moving in the bottom left right now. Not sure exactly what he's trying to get done. Maybe another expansion over there.
Yeah, and this is actually going to kill almost all of Jaedong's tech. He's going to get the Ultra Den. The Defiler mount means that's going to be a very lonely Defiler just kind of sitting there waiting for any help to come his way. Scan right on top of those Burrowed Lurkers. They will be taken out eventually, and all of a sudden, Mong just exploding everywhere across the map.
Yeah, this is a very cost-inefficient move, but he's just going to move as quickly as he can while he has this advantage. Oh my God. Is he going to get the spawning pool as well?
Jaedong's back in the Stone Age, does just barely save the spawning pool, but he's got no tech left.
Yeah, that's rough. Luckily, the spawning pool did live, so he can still make some units in those Zerglings, but to lose the Ultralisk Cavern, to lose both Evolution Chambers before your upgrades are done, to lose the Defiler Mound, these are the important units, and we see Hydra's actually being made. He's going to have to go back into Lurkerling for a bit.
Wow, and that is definitely a big step backwards as Mong takes steps forward, transitioning into a more powerful mech, build composition. I don't know, man. That was a big hit to Jaedong's tech structure.
It certainly was. Mong continues to try to harass around the map here, sneaking Vultures over here. We see the dropships at the top left bases. Looks like those will be cleaned relatively quickly, so not too much damage done. A few drones here and there. But Mong he's making some moves. Notice the mini-map, you see some barracks are floating around. It's going to give him a lot of vision. There's not, like, you don't go anti-air stuff late game as Zerg against Terran. You just don't really need it. So those are going to give him some great scouting intel. Could even screw up things like Scourge moving around the map. You're going to always have to use that move command. But, like, Mong he's planting his flag, man. Look at this.
Here come these Scourge. Will they connect? Irradiants go off immediately to try to stop them as they try to pick him off. But 2 dead Science Vessels. Big pickoffs for Jaedong.
Yeah, trying to get an eraser move off there to kill off all the drones, but maybe a little bit too greedy by Mong. A little bit, if there were no Scourge there, would have done a ton of damage to us. You can't really blame him for trying it. Vulture's now coming up. Ooh, great mine connection right there on those Zerglings.
Yeah, Zerglings die so fast to Vultures that do deal 100% of their damage type. Great at clearing them out and sacrificing several Cloudslings. What do you call a group of Zerglings? Is it a pack?
A gaggle. A gaggle of Zerglings. No, it's a loveliness.
Oh my.
Just like ladybugs. It's a loveliness of Zerglings.
You are my least favorite biologist, Artosis.
Yeah.
You'd probably come up with like names for genus and species.
I'm not a biologist. I'm a mechologist. Thank you very much. Oh, great plague right there. That's going to allow the Lurker to clear everything up in a matter of seconds. And oh my God, there's a lot of SCVs on. I want to go back to that mineral patch. Oh, we're not going to go back to that mineral patch, are we? He hit like 3 locations at the exact same time here. And he had one, yeah. Oh my God, 13 kills. See that?
Jeez.
Your SCVs will just super stack on mineral patches late game, and the fact that he hit these other locations and now is getting like 1 million kills with that, that's pretty awesome.
Tell me Brood War isn't the best game in the world, Artosis.
Dude, StarCraft 1 and 2 are by far the greatest games out there, and there are so many good games in the world.
Absolutely incredible to see. Games
I would have
like
my life no other way but playing these for all of it.
Yeah, it turns out Heaven is actually just watching Jaedong play all day long. More Scourge coming through, and it will actually take out yet another Science Vessel. And we've just seen so many great moves by both players, and the game still goes on.
They're really screwing each other up a lot here. Look at that. Are you ready? Oh, you know what? I didn't see, but maybe the Defiler put a... He missed the irradiate on the Defiler, probably. I was going to say maybe the Defiler went under the Dark Swarm, and he irradiated the Vulture to kill the Splash. I'm like, well, you would just irradiate the Defiler, right? But anyways, whatever.
You don't see too many Vulture erasers there.
No. No, I don't even remember seeing that in a pro game ever.
That's just in case you want the Vultures to kill workers really, really fast. You irradiate them to a little overkill there. But here comes a Doom Drop. Now, Cracklings late game just kill everything. You get those in your base and you don't get them out. There's no such thing as an Exterminator for those before they wind up just killing everything. So you got to be careful for Doom Drops like this.
They will destroy your building so quickly. Let's see what he has inside of here. Does he have a Defiler? Because if not, like whatever he drops out will just get slaughtered. That is a lot of Vultures.
Yeah, that is nothing gonna land for very much.
That was not a very good drop. Like maybe he just, I'm not sure exactly why he went through that. He might have queued it up and then, or not queued it up. You can't really queue, but you know, like told it to happen and wasn't really paying attention.
He willed it into existence, but it didn't exist for very long.
No.
If you just actually keep your eyes on the minimap, you'll be able to see this massive cloud of Vultures just shifting like sand kind of over the map, back and forth, defending big drops like that, and they're already back out onto the map. But that cloud of Overlords might be the drop of doom.
The fact that this is how TVZ is played nowadays, I need some help getting this Fish server working on my PC, man.
Oh my God,
this is such an awesome way to play TVZ. So many Vultures around this map and really causing a huge problem for Jaedong.
And this is a great thing that makes StarCraft a little bit like chess. It's like things are always happening. They're big moves, but it doesn't necessarily end the game. But now that Ultra Tech's out, Darkstorm's back up again. All that tech replenished, and Jaedong making big moves all over Mong's army.
Yeah, dropping a lot of Ultras here, and those Darkstorms come down. Oh my God, a ton of damage, removing all of these units, killing them so quickly with the Ultraless Swarm drop, and even taking out double armory. That is going to set his upgrades way back.
Ultras don't deal splash damage, but they are still pretty good units, and they are pushing through, trying to take out this fragile economy. This is one of the last few mining bases for Mong. He's going to be forced to lift it. All of the SCVs rallying to another base that might just still go down.
Jaedong is really taking control of this game right now. Gets both of the armories.
Oh my God. It's 1-1.
1-1. That is such weak upgrades. 2-2 is so much better here. And he can't even make Goliath at this point. We could see Jaedong even add in some mutas to chase around siege tanks, make unsieges happen, and then chase everything down.
Yeah, these are fully upgraded Ultralists, by the way, as far as defense go. 5 armor. They do have +1 attacks, so maybe needing to juice themselves up in that regard. But he did lose double Evo Chambers, so that's maybe a little bit more expected.
It's kind of funny, like, truth be told, like, when you have a lot of spider mines and tanks in siege mode, the Terran army kills itself as quickly as you kill it, as long as you get on top of it. And that is really what he's trying to do here. Moving these Ultras in now through this minefield, that's not going to work out very well.
Yeah, it turns out Mukau is not the biggest counter to giant mines that explode in their face. But look at that, just dropping Ultras all over Mong's army, clearing up so many of those siege tanks. Ultras staying alive, and they're actually just going to take out absolutely everything.
Yeah, a lot of siege tanks falling right now. We saw Defiler over there on the side. More and more Lings enter the fray. We need more mines out on the map here for Mong. He's kind of starting to lose control, but this is generally what a late game TVZ will end up looking like. Like, Zerg will start to gain a little bit of control when he starts this. Can you stabilize, though? It's not looking like he's going to be able to.
Oh, and a huge line of SCVs get taken. Lee Jaedong will advance as the first Zerg to enter the round of 16.
Wow, and the crowd just went absolutely wild from that. The moment that he tapped out, great play from Jaedong at the end there, being able to take down Mong, and as you said, advance. He is the only Zerg. So far, we could get another one tomorrow, but only Zerg here today.
Just incredible to watch this level of dominance, man. If you think G-Dragon and Taeyeon are good boys, Jaedong's a pretty good one himself.
He's better than whoever you just said, because that's not Flash's name. So yeah, he's the best one out of all those. Now, this is a big deal that he gets through. This means that in the round of 16, we literally have the 4 greatest players of all time, all playing in the round of 16 of ASL. That's crazy.
And not only are they also playing, they all had to qualify. Jaedong himself actually failed the first qualifier in Seoul, had to take the literal train to Busan, and then qualify there the second time around. So he finally made it into the tournament. He barely made it out of his group, and he is the last of Taekbang Lisang, the big 4 icons of StarCraft, back playing in the modern day, advancing to the round of 16.
Yeah, he had the bumpiest road out of everybody to do this. But he's here, man, and that's all that matters. Congratulations! Finally, a Zerg player in the round of 16.
정말 가슴 졸이는 경기였을 것 같은데요. 어떠셨어요?
It was a very tight match at the end. How was it?
생각보다 게임이 잘 안 돼가지고 이겨도
The games didn't really work out well for me as I expected. Even though I won, it doesn't really feel that good. My performance really wasn't too good tonight.
오늘 완벽한 그런 승리를 하기 위해서 나오셨을 텐데 아까 그 조지욱 선수와의 그런 경기에서는 약간 아쉬웠단 말이에요. 그때 좀 어떤 부분이 가장 아쉬웠습니까?
Your match against Best.
평소에 좀 안 하는 플레이를.
What's the most disappointing thing about that match?
그 게임 좀.
I try to build I don't really use my mind.
예, 오늘 그럼
I
게임
want to replay
방송
that
다시
game.
볼 수 있는 겁니까?
도지욱 선수만 괜찮으면 또 하고 싶어요. 너무 아쉬워요.
예, 이렇게 다시 한번 승부를 요청했는데
If Best is okay with it, I really want to play against him once again.
좋겠고요. 그래도 드디어 이재동 선수가 이렇게 연습할 수 있는 시간이 많지 않았음에도 첫 번째로 ASL 16강 진출을 했단 말이에요.
Even though you didn't have much time to practice or prepare for this tournament, you're still the first Zerg to advance the round of 16. Do you have any people to thank?
팬들이 너무 많아서.
First of all, the fans always cheer for me, and the fans that came down to the studio.
16강밖에 안 되기 때문에 더 높게 올라갈 수 있다고 생각합니다.
한 가지도 묻자면
It's only the round of 16. It's only a start for me, and I'm going to go higher than this.
있었던 것 같은데요.
특별히 위기라고는 생각한 적이 없는데 스스로 게임이 너무 말려가지고 질 수가 없는 경기를 자꾸 지려고 해가지고 좀 그것 때문에 좀 짜증났어요.
During practice, I lost some games I wasn't supposed to, so that annoyed me very much. But this time around, that's not going to happen. I'm going to prepare really well for the round of 16.
오랜만에 무대에서 경기하니까
It's been a long time since I played on stage.
강한 선수들과 높은 곳에서
And it feels good to play against all these strong players. It's just motivating me to go higher up and to meet even stronger players in the future.
와.
My goal is to become the
좋습니다.
champion,
이재동 선수 정말 다시 한번
and I'm sure that I
축하드립니다.
can do it.
수고하셨습니다.
J-Dog is
But Flash
confident.
said he's going to do it.
정말
If
저그가
one of those guys is a dirty liar.
If Flash vs. J-Dong
자,
happens,
그럼
like, I don't
오늘의
even
경기
know.
결과 확인해 보겠습니다.
We're going to have to make a moon base.
We're going to have to
play
get
it
a
on.
shovel to shovel our audience out the door after witnessing all that greatness. But let's take a look at how exactly everything is stacked up tonight. J-Dong was able to take his first game, Best at the same time, but unlike in the interview, Best actually decided to get a little bit greedy and take first place out of the group.
Yeah, he was not thinking he'd be able to do it, but he definitely played solidly and did a good job at taking down J-Dong, who used kind of a funky strike he doesn't use as often. But guys, it was a good night. We had the two legendary players advance. I think that the other two guys actually have a lot of potential as well, so I hope to see them again in the future. And there you have what our round of 16 is so far. J-Dong, the only Zerg still. We could get another one tomorrow, though.
That is very true. And we do actually have a pretty good chance of that.
Yeah.
But the last day of the group stage is going to just be absolutely incredible. Also looking forward to seeing, I guess, Iris play tomorrow as the Berserker. Well, yeah, as Berserker. He is going to be so exciting. And I just can't wait for a better way to close out our round of 24. It's just going to keep getting better and better. And here you can see tomorrow's matchup, Hero versus Mind. One of the smartest
crazy.
Terrans out there.
Indeed.
And Berserker, one of the most aggressive Terrans, going up against a newcomer, Maru. This is not the StarCraft 2 player.
No, it is certainly not that. Playing Protoss, in fact, not Terran. But guys, it's going to start 2 hours earlier than this broadcast does, just so you know. And that's because we are going to do the round of 16 group selection right afterwards. So it's going to be a long, long day tomorrow. Please do make sure that you check that one out. Can we get another Zerg through? I think there's a good chance Hero's in fantastic shape at the moment. Although I got to tell you, I get chills every time I look down and see Mind and Iris here. Ooh. Two of my favorite Terrans ever. Like these guys. And they're very, very different Terran players.
They are very true. That is very true. I remember, I think Iris was one of like before I knew who Flash was, I was like watching like my first Brood War VODs, I was watching Iris, and he was just like really, really impressive.
That Iris GG play finals. Oh God, I love that finals.
We'll talk about that one tomorrow, because that is all of the games you guys get tonight. Can't pack this much greatness into just one evening. So make sure to come join us tomorrow, once again, 2 hours earlier. That's going to be at 5 p.m. KST. We definitely hope to see you either down here at the FreeCup Studios in Samsung or online checking us out there. It's been a pretty great night, Artosis.
It has indeed. J-Dong made it through. We have a Zerg, guys. All right. The game is good to go. Thank you for watching tonight, and we'll see you tomorrow.